Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Scratching Post, so we scratch at that gaming itch. That is right, it is Saturday evening, and you know what that means. Yes, I'm making a Jesse Cox reference. It's time for some silly voices. I couldn't resist with that one. Good evening, everyone. Once again, my name is Ebac here, the owner and runner of the Scratching Post, where we scratch that gaming itch, and I'm joined, as per always, on every Saturday by my friends, where we loan our voice acting talents to the characters of the Ace Attorney games. And today we'll be continuing on with Case 5 of Dual Destinies, as things are starting to get a bit real, as it were. But of course, who is joining me on this adventure? Well, I have to introduce my cast, naturally. So let's go down the order. Let's introduce, we've got Burr.
Sweet.
We have a Drifting.
I don't think I can +2 stack my way out of this one, fellas.
Oh, God. We have Divot.
Aha! Justice!
Kay.
You can't +2 stack your way out of anything!
Yes, I can.
That's not in the rules!
Oh dear.
Lemming.
I don't know how to follow any of that up. Hey, Wonky, you got anything? I got nothing, man.
That's good enough. Shadow.
I only appear in flashbacks. Hello.
And our special guest for this, well, for the last case of this game, but maybe might be changing. We won't see that. Laura Petal. Laura.
Laura?
Laura!
Oh
We've
no!
lost our-
Oh no! Oh no! We've lost our special guest.
Hide them! Ha
Oh God.
Oh,
We've lost
dear.
our special guest.
Be back soon!
So sorry about that. Apparently, voice mod is being slow.
Oh,
That's okay.
no.
Oh,
Blap.
That's-
Blap.
Yep, there we go. There we go.
I hear
Blap.
Blap. Blap is
Blap.
alive. Blap.
Black.
Are you
Blap is
here?
here.
Yeah.
Good.
Mlem.
Well, let's move over to Ace Attorney Dual Destinies. We'll be continuing tonight's antics, as well as seeing if we can get someone off the hook for murder, even though we don't know whether it is murder or if it could be classified as murder. Who knows what it could be classified? This is a Ace Attorney game. It's where the
Nervous laughter.
where the points and laws are made up, and it doesn't really matter.
I
The
understood
laws
that
are made up and the points don't matter.
I understood that reference.
All right, and we left at a very kind of real moment last week as well.
There was no good point to end it, so we just had to kind of do it.
We just had to cut an end from it.
And now to bring the mood down. Dead puppies.
Thank you for letting me do this, Prosecutor Edgeworth. And thank you, Mr. Red and Prosecutor Blackwell, for letting the truth be known. Now we can finally move forward, and everyone's suffering can come to an end.
Athena.
Prosecutor Blackwell will be cleared, and the dark age of the law can come to an end. Yes, admit your guilt and bring everything to its conclusion.
I killed my mother. My memory's still a little hazy, but there's no question I remember it. I remember the weight of the weapon in my hand and the feeling of it stabbing in deep. Okay.
Just going to bring the game audio down a tad. Can people just check and make sure that everything's transmitting okay?
Yep.
Seems to be.
We'll do.
Yep. Yes. Yep.
Awesome. I always like to do a sound test.
And I remember the warmth of her blood as it flowed out on the handle onto my fingers.
This 16 was justified, Jesus.
Your Honor, please find me guilty.
I dare say these are all memories that no one but the murderer would have.
Mighty, thank you for your confession. I believe this trial has gone on long enough. But before we conclude, does anyone have a counter-argument?
Objection.
That's an open door.
Not quite. I do, Your Honor.
Mr. Wright?
Mr. Right. Why? I killed her. I remember it now. Any counter-argument now is pointless.
Mm-mm-mm. Don't tell me you've forgotten one of the basic tenets of lawyering.
Bluffing!
Bullshit your way through everything.
And the second one is always believing the client to the bitter end. Athena, you are not a murderer.
Just that
Objection.
just sounded so much like that bit in Jurassic Park where it's like you didn't say the magic
You
word.
didn't say the magic word.
I said
You didn't say objection.
I said that you never change, but could you have actually regressed in these 8 years?
That's a bit far.
I won't stand for your childish emotionalism getting in the way of the truth.
Emotionalism? Don't lecture me on matters of the heart, Edgeworth.
The girls are fighting!
At least I have one.
Because I can see straight into a person's soul.
Using magic.
I believe this is the first time in all of Ace's Journey where Cyclops show up at all in court.
I think so, yeah.
I did a little research. I looked into those special Cyclops you mentioned, Mr. Nick. Athena isn't trying to keep anything from you on purpose. For some reason, part of her heart and her memories are sealed off, even from herself. Trauma! Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of it.
There's still a chance. Somewhere deep in Athena's heart. There might still be a memory that not even she knows about yet. It might be like looking for a grain of sand somewhere in the cosmos, but still.
Or a teapot orbiting the Earth.
Or a whale crashing into a planet.
That's a physics joke!
And I'm referencing the Hitchhiker's Guide, so what's your point? That memory might contain a new fact that could prove her innocence.
I hope for everyone's sake that you're not just bluffing, Mr. Wright.
But that's all he does!
Now then, is there or is there not a problem with Miss Sykes' confession?
My memory is still a little hazy, but there's no question I remember it. I remember the weight of the weapon in my hands, and the feeling of it stabbing in deep, and that I said this like 5 seconds ago. And I remember the warmth of her blood as it flowed down the handle onto my fingers.
There's definitely something wrong with her memory of the event. I can just tell.
If there's a problem with her confession, please prove it to this court. Now.
Uh-oh.
Anyone else, everyone?
What is the evidence again? Well, aside from everything that we
Yeah,
have
just
here.
I'd say just go through the evidence little bit, let people have a look.
Yeah.
Because I know the answers, so I'm not going to say
Yeah.
anything.
You shush.
I don't know a dang thing.
I don't see how that's relevant.
Utility knife. No, because we know it
No.
was... Because we
No,
think
those
it's
were
the...
clay.
Yeah, because we think it's the sword. Wait, no, look on the blade. The blood never reached the handle.
Ooh. Good catch.
Yeah.
Good eye.
Hmm.
Isn't that the Connor? I'll try that again. Pick up. Isn't that the Connor? Fucking hell! Why can't I say katana? Pick up. Isn't that the katana the defendant used to kill the victim, Mr. Wright?
You've been hanging around me too long, that's the problem.
Analytical
respect-
psychology.
Now you're just rubbing
Apology
it in.
not granted.
I respectfully and vehemently disagree, Your Honor.
But I remember it. I remember holding on to the weapon and getting blood on my fingers.
That's exactly my point. If blood really did get on your fingers while you were holding it, there should be blood on the handle. But please focus on the handle of the sword. There's not a trace of blood on it. And therefore, This is clearly a contradiction of the facts.
You're right.
You're damn right.
Oh my!
Yes, Athena, he is right. Phoenix right, if you will.
Objection.
Hey.
The defendant must have simply confused a portion of her memories. She mentioned it was hazy to begin with, and we can't mull over every minor detail.
But she also said, there's no question, I remember it. A fact we can't ignore.
In that case, why don't you explain what this contradiction with her memories mean?
Gladly. Just give me a section to think something up. Honor says that Athena didn't stab anyone. But she said herself that she remembers the feeling of committing the act. Think, Phoenix, think!
Did she take out the sword? Is that what the
Confidence save.
Ebac. Yeah,
Confidence
Yeah,
save.
let's do a confidence
And
save.
then Ebac, we honestly,
Just
me
do
and
the top
Kay
one.
need you to do something here.
Yes.
Right?
Just do the top one.
Please choose
First
the
one.
blood was wiped off the weapon.
Yes.
What could the contradiction with Athena's memories mean? The blood was wiped off the handle! Uh-oh. I got the treatment.
I shouldn't have to explain the implications of your own argument to you, right? But all your claim suggests is that Miss Sykes wiped the blood off herself after the fact?
I knew that.
I know that bluffing your way through things is your calling card, but your credibility phoned just now and told me to tell you to put a sock in it.
Yes, Daddy. You all just did that just to make me say Daddy, didn't you?
Baby?
Yes, Debbie.
No.
Well, at least we know. At least we know the dynamic of this relationship. Question mark.
Really.
I'm sorry. Conspiracy successful. We did it, lads.
We did it, guys.
We did it. We did it. Chat. We did it. Chat room. We got Phoenix to say yes, Daddy.
You did it, Reddit.
I hate all of you.
We love you too.
But we love you,
Yeah.
Lemming. We love you.
We love you very much.
Miss
Thank
Sykes
you.
said blood flowed down the handle, but the katana's handle is spotless. So, doesn't it follow that the defendant must have used a weapon other than the katana?
What are you up to this time?
This is it. This time, I found just the thing to end Athena's nightmare for good! The weapon that took Dr. Sykes' life was the katana. That much is for sure. So if I can show a possibility that Athena didn't use the katana, it could help me prove her innocent!
A different weapon, you say? What weapon would that be exactly?
Right. Of course you would ask that.
I can see you're floundering, Mr. Wright. Did you speak without thinking again, as always?
Get him.
How does he do that? But I can't back down. Not here. Not now. That's right. I did. Because it's so obvious. It doesn't require any thought.
Phoenix.
What did you just say?
Okay, so maybe that was an exaggeration. But there has to be something.
Can someone get me some popcorn? This is a very interesting tennis match.
Yeah.
Was there some other bladed weapon in the robotics lab that day? Maybe there's something in one of the crime scene photos. Wait a minute. There is something! There is a high probability that that was in the lab. I don't have that particular weapon here in the evidence right now, but I do have a piece of evidence just like it.
A utility knife?
Other than the katana,
I was.
this is
No,
another
the
place that
utility-
may have been in the
No, the
crime
utility
scene.
knife is for the Space Center thing, right?
Yeah,
they
but
have
It could have
multiple.
been at the scene. It's a utility tool used by safety.
Yeah. It's a
utility
It's
tool.
a thing that's, there's
Yeah.
a
And
lot
even
of them.
and
And there was
in
the
the photo
satellite in
and
there.
yeah,
And
in
like,
the,
what
in
else
the
would it
photo,
be?
there was just a spare
Yeah.
box, spare utility box. There
Yeah.
could easily
Yeah.
be more than one.
Yeah, and that is the only other blade that you have in your inventory.
Yep.
But just another one in the blade in case.
Your Honor, are you eating something right now?
No? Maybe.
He's
Yeah.
sharing the popcorn with me, don't worry.
Oh, fair
There's a Swiss roll I nicked, oh Gumshoe.
It's actually Southern fried chicken wraps.
enough. Oh.
Oh, very nice. Yeah.
Damn it, I want KFC.
Sorry.
Uh,
I've been at work all day. This is the first tea I've had.
Understandable. Yes, this is a knife that took Mr. Terran's life. But there must have been a knife just like this at the scene 7 years ago as well. Toolkits containing utility knives like this one are issued to Space Center employees. And a robotics lab especially would naturally have one of these around.
Objection. But besides the katana, no other bladed weapon was found at the site. It was in the investigation report, if you didn't know.
Of course I know that. Once you told me just now.
Then here's something else you already knew. There was a toolkit at the scene, but it didn't contain any blades. Here is a photo of its contents.
What's missing?
Of course
where
it
is
didn't
the blade,
contain
my
any
guy?
I
blades.
don't see any kind of bladed tool, and there's no possibility it could go in that empty slot.
Fine. But isn't there something odd about the design on these handles?
They're in the wrong order.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they would spell Gyaxa, but they don't.
Hmm.
Therefore, there was no other bladed weapon in the room.
Have you ever stabbed somebody with a screwdriver? That fucking hurts.
Yeah. I haven't stabbed
I haven't
anybody,
actually
but I
stabbed
have
anybody
actually.
with a screwdriver.
Yeah.
No, I haven't stabbed anybody else. I have accidentally stabbed myself in the hand a couple of times with screwdrivers.
That's
Same.
fair.
But with a
Yeah.
small one, because
They
of my
hurt.
line of work.
Yeah, the only person I stabbed is myself as well, but I know it does hurt.
Yes. I disagree. This toolkit contains a knife.
You're just like, ow, I did this to myself, then I'm not gonna do this to anybody else. Jeez.
And what proof do you have of that?
Well, other than the empty slot. Don't tell me your eye for art is failing you too, Mr. Edgeworth.
Oh, you think I wear glasses?
You are the last person in the world who should be criticizing my aesthetic sense.
Oh no, he's simply watching out for your ocular health. Please proceed, Mr. Rat.
burn for burn.
The judge is saying that, thinking, oh god, I have to just defuse the situation now
Can I
What
have some
it is-
can I have some of that
Before
popcorn,
the
please,
lady-
drifting?
before the ladies start fighting.
I was about to say, this is like the first time in my experience that the judge has actually been on my side.
Yeah.
Notice that the handles of each of these tools have a sort of design on them.
What significance do they have?
It's clear that one of the tools is missing from this kit.
No, really?
If
Never
we
would've
rearrange
guessed.
the tools into a specific pattern, we might be able to tell which part of the overall design is missing.
Is that the theory your pitiful sense of aesthetics helped you come up with?
Edgeworth, just let it go, man.
Show the court then, if you would. What pattern or design would we see if we were to rearrange the tools?
Just find something
have
that has
something-
the Gaxa
You have
logo on
something that
it.
have the
Yeah.
Gyaxa logo
Like
on
the
it. You
space
do have
sensitive-
something.
Like that, yeah.
Robots
Yeah.
with a heart.
Yeah.
And what design is this supposed to represent?
The Gyaxa logo, Your Honor. It's on all the Space Center's documents and pamphlets. As you're aware, Gyaxa is the program that operates the Cosmos Space Center.
Look at how brightly the GX logo shines in the sunlight above the entranceway. I really dig the stars and the rocket motif it's got going on.
Gyaxa, huh? Isn't that the new name of the Federal Space R&D program? program.
I think I see it now, but
Yes, with just the tools shown in this photo. The red A part of the logo is missing. And this is where the murder weapon from the Terran case comes into play. If we would have placed the utility knife in the open slot,
It fits perfectly.
Yeah.
it would complete the Gyaxa logo.
Like
Oh,
a
it would.
glove.
then that means
Admit it, Mr. Edgeworth. My aesthetic sense is keener than yours. And while you're at it,
Damn right is better than yours.
admit that the weapon Miss Sykes used could have been this one.
Ah,
I don't see how that's supposed to help me.
order in the court.
Athena, it means you didn't stab your mother. You stabbed somebody else.
Or somebody
Well
else
then,
has
I still
done
stabbed someone, so I don't see the actual point.
that. Maybe
Miss Sykes
unstab
could-
them.
Yeah. Miss Sykes confessed to having a memory of stabbing the victim. Admittedly, Miss Sykes most likely did stab someone using the utility knife.
Considering my track record, yes.
However, the weapon used to kill Dr. Sykes was the katana. Therefore, the act of stabbing that Miss Sykes remembers couldn't be that of Dr. Sykes.
Then how did that knife get into somebody else's body then?
Different knives, there's lots of them.
Do you remember? Do you remember Miss Panko saying that?
Bonko.
Sorry, Pachin. Yeah, do you remember Pachinko saying that? That Athena was
bread coating!
Oh god.
Panko was saying.
Ponko!
No.
Okay, Panko was saying that Athena was hugging her mother, and her mother fell down. It was not her mother. That person was just wearing her mother's jacket.
Could be.
Ah, possible.
very
And
well.
that was the act of stabbing.
Very well. Let's suppose for a minute that Miss Sykes did use the utility knife.
Sorry to interrupt you again, back, but I was taking my plate out and listening to that conversation, and it was like, I still stab somebody. Yeah, you can stab someone and not kill them either.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tell me, how does that change anything?
Come again?
What if the katana was only being used as a decoy to conceal the true murder weapon? What if the real weapon that took the victim's life was the utility knife?
Don't be ridiculous. Are you changing the premise of your entire argument?
I'm merely offering a hypothetical situation derived from your logic.
Yeah, I've just
He's
gone
like, do
through
you,
all
do you
the
think you're
entire
the only
traits.
one who can bluff around here? Come on.
Miss Sykes could have put the blood on the katana to make it look like the murder weapon, and then concealed the knife on her personage until Blackwell carried her away.
He was 11.
Yeah, I know.
That does clear up the contradiction between Miss Sykes' memories and the evidence.
In fact, if in fact the murder weapon is a utility knife, then fate has dealt you a cruel hand, for you have just proven the knife's existence to the rest of us with your own logic.
Uh-oh. The prosecution is attempting to lead the court.
That's what
Objection.
prosecutors do.
You're the one attempting to lead the court, Mr. Wright, by forcing us to forget the facts of this case. Need I remind you that there were only 2 people in the lab at the time of the murder, and that the defendant herself recalls stabbing someone with her own hands?
No.
It matters not whether the murder weapon was a katana or a utility knife. As long as we know that the victim and the defendant were the only ones there, you cannot escape the fact that it was Athena Sykes who killed her own mother.
I don't believe it. Why? Why does this keep happening? Every time I find a contradiction, it vanishes and the suspicion keeps coming back. It's almost as if
Edgewood loved bluffing as much as you do.
Now you're finally starting to get it. Your contradictions keep vanishing because the charge is true.
No, it's because your ability to bullshit is stronger than mine.
And the suspicion keeps coming back to the defendant because it's where it belongs.
I don't
The
know.
bullshit
there
is
seems-
strong with this one.
There just seems to be a third of the story that is missing.
Phoenix Wright, when will you open your eyes and accept the truth?
Yeah!
Oh no. Poor thing.
Yeah! I don't want to believe it. It can't be true. But what if?
Mr. Wright, you fought a good fight. I think you've done all you can do.
I'm a bit punch drunk.
Now is the time to put the case on its head.
Is giving up really the only option?
Turn your thinking around, Phoenix.
Yeah, turn the case on its head.
No! Snap out of it, Phoenix. What's the matter with you? Giving in to doubt? I can't look back. Forward is the only way to go. No, Your Honor. Not yet. It isn't over yet.
Right.
Left.
Oh my god.
Oh dear.
I can't lose sight of what's important. I believe in Athena, and I'll always believe in her, to the very end. A defense lawyer never gives up on his client. I have to pick myself up and stand firm. Make that brain of yours work, Phoenix.
Is part of the reason why his English name is Phoenix is because every time he comes to a dead end with this case, he always comes back fierier than ever.
Yeah, he's the
Yeah.
comeback king.
Yeah. Yeah, this is why also the fifth case in the first game is called Racing from Ashes.
Ah.
Nice.
It's the only case without turnabout in the title.
Ha, nice.
Ah.
In the entire
yes.
series. Not Great Ace Attorney, but Great Ace Attorney is a separate beast.
Right, cool.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh dear.
Oh, I can't wait.
Oh, I'm
I
very
don't see a
excited.
way. I'll have to go back and look for one. Time to rethink this case. Thoroughly.
It's time to think harder.
Think hard.
Press the logic button, Phoenix.
I can see the fact that Athena must have stabbed someone with a utility knife. This must have been what Ponko witnessed as Athena's hug. But Prosecutor Blackwell didn't see the knife at the scene. This means that someone must have removed it from the lab before he arrived. Who could have taken the utility knife from the lab?
Someone else.
Someone else.
Someone else. If I trust in Athena, then I have to conclude there was a third person at the scene. But according to Ponko's testimony, Athena and her mother were the only two there. So then, how did this third person manage to escape Ponko's detection?
They weren't wearing their thing.
I know. This person must have fooled Ponko's facial recognition system by covering...
Their own face.
Their own face.
Their own face.
Wait a minute. Ponko had a heartbeat detection system too. Even if they covered their own face, Ponko would have still detected their presence. But she wouldn't have been able to tell who they were. Wait, that's it! The culprit must have covered their face and posed as the person to avoid detection.
Metis.
Was that
Oh,
Metis? Metis Sykes.
If the culprit posed as the victim, that would explain why Ponko thought only she and Athena were there. All they had to do was take advantage of Ponko's basic recognition features. The culprit used
Her
this
jacket.
in order to
Jacket.
pose as the victim. The jacket.
Her jacket.
That's why it was lying on the floor.
That's why it has a stab wound in it.
Oh, of course, yes, that's why it has the gash in it. The one that I figured because it's so low, it would have been because it's so low on the jacket. That was the stab mark. Because a little one could have only reached up that high.
Yes.
I've always wanted to.
All coming together.
Go on.
The culprit could have posed as the victim by wearing the jacket with the ID tag on it.
I've always wanted to get my voice mod working with a good echo because I've always liked the idea of the character repeating the kind of like beyond like the realization they come to at the back. Yeah.
Yes, that would be cool.
But that still leaves the heartbeat detection system. How did the culprit get around that? It wouldn't have worked if Ponko could detect the real Dr. Sykes' heartbeat too.
He was already dead.
Yeah. So does that mean that the real Dr. Sykes was already dead by that time? If that's the case, then who did Athena stab?
The real culprit.
The real culprit.
The real culprit.
Ah, there we go.
That's it! The person Athena stabbed wasn't Dr. Sykes. It was the person who murdered her and then pretended to be her. The real culprit!
Athena stabs the real culprit.
Oh my god, that would also explain why Athena was like, I'm gonna make her better, but just stood there traumatized, really. And then Simon was like, I have to put her out of her misery, I'm so sorry, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now that Mr. Wright has finally finished thinking, let us bring this to a swift end. Please give us your verdict, Your Honor, so that we can move on to the hostage negotiations.
Oh god, I forgot about those people. You're absolutely right,
They're all
Mr.
dead.
Edgeworth. I hereby declare...
No! I didn't say I was finished! I was only pausing for a second.
No, that was half an hour, Phoenix.
Because I realized something so shocking, I had to take a break to digest it.
And have a Kit Kat.
But now, I know for a fact that Miss Sykes is innocent.
Ponko saw me. She witnessed the moment of the crime.
Yes, Ponko did witness something. She saw the hug. In other words, the moment you used the utility knife. But the person you stabbed wasn't your mother.
What are you saying, Mr. Wright?
The answer is simple, to anyone who can bullshit. The person Miss Sykes stabbed was a third person, posing as Dr. Sykes.
You and your third person?
Yes, it comes the
Objection!
pursuit.
Do you really expect us to swallow that, Mr. Wright? Go on, Shadow.
No, I completed no states. Continue.
According to the robot's statement, there was no third person there. Did you really think I wouldn't see through your ludicrous grab for time?
After all we've been through, Mr. Edgeworth, I'm disappointed. Don't you know by now that this smile of mine means I have absolute confidence?
Ha! You make that pose all the time, regardless of the facts.
Because I'm always confident. Clonko's strange malfunction.
Mr. Terran, you look pale. Shall I help you to the sick bay?
Oh my god, because he wears the same jacket.
Yeah.
Duh.
Mr. Terran? But that's Polo you're talking to.
Oh, there's some good junk here. It's mistaking Apollo for Clay. Maybe Apollo is possessed by Clay's ghost.
No, he just has the jacket on.
Apollo ain't afraid of no ghost.
That was another case of mistaken identity caused by a jacket ID tag. All because Clonko couldn't read Apollo's facial features due to that eye patch. Like Mr. Edgeworth said, a mask could nullify the robot's facial recognition. And then, all the person would have to do is wear a jacket with the victim's ID tag deposes her.
Objection. Of all the ridiculous theories, what good would a silly disguise like that do? Have you forgotten that the robots also have a heartbeat detection system? If there was a third person at the scene, the robot would have detected them.
I'm sorry, Mr. Edgeworth, but that doesn't count for much, I'm afraid. Because by that time, Dr. Sykes' heart had already stopped beating.
What?
So does that mean?
Yes, Your Honor. The person Miss Sykes stabbed. This third person who was posing as Dr. Sykes is her mother's real killer.
But that's impossible!
Impossible!
Ah, that old meme. It's an older meme, sir, but it checks out.
Yes.
The person I stabbed was wearing a mask?
Order! Order in the court! Miss Sykes, did you say something?
Mask? Yes, I remember it.
Athena! What is it? Oh no.
I remember a man with a mask. How could he? What did he do to my mother? My head.
Miss Sykes, are you alright?
Not really. No!
Oh,
The Black Cyclops. They're breaking.
I don't like where this is going.
Edit that with just a
Oh, no.
nuclear explosion.
It's all coming back to me. Everything that happened the day my mother was murdered.
They're gone. The Black Cyclops are finally gone. You didn't really stab your mother, did you? It's all right, Athena. Just tell us what you saw that day.
I was drawing a picture. When I was done, I went to show it to my mom.
No.
I opened the door and then...
It's all right. I'm right here. You're safe, Athena.
She was on the floor by the workbench with the katana sticking out of her. There was a handkerchief all over her face, but I knew it was her by her clothes. And there was a man there.
A man?
Quiet, Your Honor. Go ahead, Athena.
He tried to attack me. In a panic, I grabbed the knife that was there, and he dodged at first, so I only got his clothes. But I tried again.
And this time you got him, didn't you?
I did. I remember it clearly now. The knife went into the back of his hand. Then he kicked me, and I passed out. When I came to, my mom wasn't moving. I had to do something. I had to fix her. I thought,
Oh, honey.
so I asked Uncle to move her to the operating table. Something's wrong with Mom, so I'm taking her apart to fix her.
So that's why she said that. Your Honor, as you can see, the defense has just given us critical new testimony. A man was there before Miss Sykes arrived. A man who covered the victim's face.
Ebac,
Yes.
can I have a look at the picture in the court record of the group photo, please?
Yes, of course. Oh no, that'd be in the evidence, wouldn't it? Silly me.
Oh, you think it's Aura, don't you?
Hmm?
Because there's someone that had a wound on the head.
No, it's not who I think it is. Okay, thank you.
No problem.
But then again, that's probably too far back, too far forward for it to be noticeable.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Thank
And
you.
put on
It's all right.
and put on the victim's jacket. This man is the real culprit.
Miss Sykes, do you have any idea who this man was?
No, I'm afraid I don't.
A few moments ago, Miss Sykes mentioned a mask. Athena, can you tell us anything about that?
Yes, the mask. It was my mom's Japanese theater mask.
Specifically
might
a
be.
no, N-A-N-O-H, a no mask.
Hmm.
I think it was the one hanging on the wall of the lab.
Ah, it's perhaps hanging here on the wall.
It was kind of spooky, that mask. My mom used to tell me that a no mask even has the power to turn an ordinary human being into a phantom. A phantom, you say?
A phantom?
So that man had no face.
It would seem that a new suspect has emerged. And that means all suspicion against Miss Sykes has...
Hold it!
Uh-oh.
You see, this is precisely why I can't trust the court system. Athena Sykes is the murderer. I won't accept any other verdict.
Miss Blackwell! This is not good.
A new suspect? Where's the proof this person ever existed? Who says it wasn't all just a dream in the little princess's groggy little head?
Ah, she's right. We don't have any hard evidence of the masked man's existence.
Objection!
Nice.
Thank you, Mr. Wright. I'll never be able to repay you for all you've done. But I'm fine now because I can say with certainty that I didn't kill my mother.
Athena, I'm so glad for you.
More and more memories are coming back now. So I'd like to say one thing, if I could. Honka came to the robotics lab at about 2 p.m. to recharge.
I went to the robotics lab at about 2 p.m. for my regular recharge. Just as I was about to charge up, Athena came in and hugged Mommy Metis, initiate echo effect. And then Mommy Metis fell down. After that, I was recharging, so I don't know anything. Echo.
I see where you're going with this. If Mommy Metis was really the killer in disguise.
Right. Then he must have come to the robotics lab before 2 p.m.
Do I have anything here in the evidence that can help me find this person who came to the lab before 2 p.m.?
No.
That's after. What was the newspaper clipping?
Good idea. Newspaper clipping.
It was back. It was back to the left of
I
the
mean,
videotape.
Oh.
No.
The rocket, the shot was
Did
already
we
gone.
check the
so-
video? Did we check that one already?
Is there anything else? Is there anything else you can check with the video? Is there any? Are there any?
Well, they could be
Is there
earlier on in
anything
the
any
else?
other,
video.
any other, any other frames in it?
Yeah,
No, there's nothing
What is
else.
it?
no.
Just
What is
that.
it? What does it say?
Okay,
What does it say? What does it say about it though?
Only one to pass through at the scene of the crime.
And there's no
Must
like
have pitched the
timestamp, so
crime.
that's not it.
Did Simon ever testify what time he was leaving by?
Did anybody ever tell us when it comes to the video what time it actually runs from and to?
No.
Not really. I think they have. I just think...
Yeah,
Do we want
the
a
only one to
confidence
pass
save
through.
just in
Not
case?
really.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
confidence
probably
save.
wise.
Because to me, it makes
Yeah.
sense that the video would have earlier things. This bit I don't remember. I'm
Yeah.
just being honest here. To
Yeah,
me,
come-
it makes sense that there'd be earlier on in the video, maybe. Oh, well, yeah, there you go.
This is Prosecutor Blackwell leaving the scene after the incident at around 3 p.m. What I'm wondering is, does the video show anyone else passing by before then?
I don't see anything in the investigation report. It looks like they didn't check.
Just as I thought. So if we rewind the footage and go back to around 2 p.m., we should be able to see the true culprit leaving the scene.
Yeah. Whoever was doing investigation on that recording should have their salary cut.
Very well then. Let's take a look. That's noise tapes make when they rewind it.
There. Please stop it right there.
And then the tape broke. Good job.
Ah, there we go.
It's just like you said. There's a man leaving the scene of the crime.
With his hand injured and the cut on his side.
Yes.
Miss Sykes, do you remember this person?
That's him. I'm sure of it. He's wearing my bonus jacket.
And he's left that jacket in the museum.
I did, but what I really wanted to see was a jacket.
I always thought it was.
in a museum.
I always thought it was weird that the cut was so low on the body. That explains it.
Yep. That jacket on display. That was Dr. Sykes.
Can you see it? That's the slash I made with the utility knife that day. And I'm sure that knife is under that jacket somewhere.
So then, everything Miss Sykes said.
Exactly. It proves that Miss Sykes' memory was correct. Dr. Sykes' killer arrived at the robotics lab before 2 p.m. He killed her and hid her face with a handkerchief. Then, he disguised himself with Dr. Sykes' jacket and a mask that was there in the lab.
Copper probably knew beforehand that Ponka charged up at 2 p.m. every day. So he waited for Ponka to come to the lab for her regular recharge.
By leaving Dr. Sykes' jacket on, the culprit tricked Ponko into thinking he was Dr. Sykes, thereby making it look like she was alive up to that point in time. All to disguise the real time of death.
Objection.
How can you object to this now?
It's a nice theory, Mr. Wright, but I'm afraid that it's just not possible.
It's just a game theory. What? Why not? The victim's jacket is clearly visible right there in the video.
And that right there is precisely the problem. The ID tag on the jacket of the scene confirms beyond doubt that it belonged to the victim. If the person who left the lab truly was wearing the victim's jacket, then how could it possibly wound up back at the crime scene?
What's going on? That doesn't make sense. Edgeworth's right. If the culprit was wearing the jacket, how did he get back to the lab?
There's only one explanation.
Yeah,
The only,
they brought
yeah,
it back.
the killer brought it back as a plant.
The killer used the jacket as a disguise to make his escape. But in order to conceal that fact, he had to get the jacket back to the crime scene. So the culprit simply returned to the robotics lab later and planted it there. Contradiction resolved.
Objection. Except that it would have been impossible. The only people who came to the robotics lab after the killer were Prosecutor Blackwell, and the people who reported the body. And they claimed that the jacket was there when they arrived.
Then who reported the body?
So,
Yeah.
when do you propose this mysterious man of yours had the chance to return the jacket?
Alright, who's self-reported?
A puzzling question indeed.
I think I know who it is.
When did the culprit have the chance to bring the jacket back?
When the body was
With
found.
the bunch of people that came in to find the body.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were like, hey, look what I found here.
Exactly. The only time the culprit could have returned the jacket was when the body was found.
Mr. Wright, do you realize the implication of that argument?
I do. Most people, when they come across a murder, focus their attention on the body. The culprit could have taken advantage of that split second to plant the jacket. In other words, the true culprit of this case, the man known as the Phantom, was one of the first people to discover the body.
I never would have thought of that!
It's almost like he's among us.
Yeah, very
could-
sus.
Order in the court!
He could be anyone. He could be even you.
He
I
could be
understand that.
me. He couldn't be me.
Could even be.
Ah, he made it obvious!
I've done nothing but teleport bread for 3 straight days.
Gentlemen,
Nice.
this is a bucket.
God.
There's more. No.
No.
What is the meaning of this, Professor Edward?
What is noise?
The body was discovered and reported by a group of 3 people. They were there to collect the space probe's capsule in preparation for the Hat 1 launch. One of those people had a special bag to transport the capsule in.
Oh, you mean the shock-resistant bag?
Correct. I suppose that if the jacket was in that bag, it could have been returned to the scene of the crime without anyone noticing.
Well, I'm right all the time.
I'll see to it that you get the reports on those 3 people.
You will?
We should also check the facial recognition database for that robot. If this person felt the need to hide his face with the theater mask, it might mean that his facial data was once registered.
That's a good point.
Professor Edward, does this mean?
I have to admit, I believe Miss Sykes' memories to be credible. You win, right? Not that this was ever an official trial, anyway.
Of course you have to go and ruin
My
it.
ears deceive me. Professor Edward, I utterly conceding.
Is it true, boss? Does this mean,
I can't believe it. It's over. I
Not
won.
that e-
I prove that both Athena and Prosecutor Blackwell are innocent.
Not that easily, I don't think.
No. Your Honor, I see no need to further prolong this trial.
Objection.
Objection! Hold on, Mr. Wright. Have you forgotten who's in charge of this trial?
Uh-oh.
That's right. I'm the one who's supposed to say, I see no further need to prolong.
Not you either, Your Honor. Now, silence.
The little princess who was truly beloved by Menace, and who repaid that love with death. All these years, hating Athena was the only thing that kept me going.
Good, that's sad.
But what do I do now? Can anybody tell me? How am I supposed to go on?
How about we find the person who actually killed Metis, and then you can beat the ever-living shit out of them?
I agree. Miss Blackwell.
I agree with the gremlin.
All aboard the beat the shit out of somebody train.
I think
Fair
I might
enough.
know who it is.
Yes.
I think
Oh.
it explains why Apollo's not been around this entire time.
Oh.
Oh, okay. Theory?
I think it's Clay.
Ooh.
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 All right, then.
Oh, damn.
Hmm.
Do you think it's
Then-
Clay, the guy who was
The
found
dead guy?
Then who
dead
killed
in the
him?
other
No,
case?
Yeah. Apollo's buddy.
So you're saying he's
Wow.
not dead?
He wasn't dead when he murdered Metis.
Oh, okay.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah, that.
but then
No, I was like, wait, why is this an issue? Shadow's theory is sound.
Yeah,
play.
I was yeah.
He might be dead,
But,
but
but wasn't this case also writing on the idea that like they're both the same murderer?
the same person. Yeah.
Yeah.
oh,
What-
yeah.
So
Mm.
you're,
Maybe
you're
it's
saying
just
the
a
place
birth
stabbed
habit, just like-
himself
Yeah, but
then?
the thing is, twist,
Yeah.
surprise twist.
Yeah.
It could be. Yeah.
So either
yeah.
Mm.
Oh, Bear.
But
Bear, you're breaking up.
Break up, Burr. Mission control. We've lost Burr.
What's happening?
Come back to
Bear.
Come back to us!
Burr, what's happening? Burr,
I think we actually lost him though.
I think we actually have.
But in that case, I'll be right back as well.
Okay, fair enough.
Hello. Hello.
Oh,
Hello, welcome
Hey,
back.
there he is. Oh my goodness.
you were saying, Mr. Burr? Uh-oh.
Oh.
For some reason my internet is breaking.
No, we get
I
that.
have no idea
It
what.
certainly is.
We understood that part, yes.
Yeah.
There's a lot we can read between the lines.
Let us continue as best as we can.
Yeah.
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 Would you mind rereading the line, please? Oh.
Miss Blackwell.
How unlike you, Aura.
I forgot you were here too.
There's a lot of people in that stand right now.
We just shove each other aside to get the witness.
Yeah,
stand.
we
That's
just do-
fine.
Simon picks up Athena and like moves her to the side a foot. All right. Metis was deeply passionate about her work, and she chose you as her partner. Isn't that?
Shut up, Simon! You know exactly how I felt about her.
Gay.
Her respect as a co-worker wasn't all I wanted.
Definitely gay.
And what did you want from her?
Did you really just go there, Your Honor?
They're lesbians, Your Honor.
What?
They're lesbians, Harold.
Thank you
Girls, that's canon now.
thank you for outing me, Your Honor. Jeez.
What's outing? I'm so confused.
Okay.
I'm about to take my boot out of myself and kick you so your brain goes out of your head.
Yeah, yeet.
Aura, there is something I've wanted to say, if you will lend me an ear. I have in my possession a lead on who Metis' murderer is.
You do?
Nani?
Nani?
Right, Dono. You asked me about the identity of the Phantom of 7 years past.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. The Phantom. The person Blackwell has been looking for. Even from behind bars.
7 years ago, somebody hatched a plan to sabotage the Hatch 1 rocket.
The spy.
But he was no ordinary spy. We knew not about him. His background, appearance.
Just a quick save because we've got to make some
That
progress.
tends to be how spies work.
If it's a fucking Interpol agent, I'm going to.
Siren.
And his life is on the
God.
line because the only Interpol agent who survives is Lang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The witness.
There we go.
We came to refer to him as the Phantom. Technically, we should be using them because we do not have a gender for this person. But that's my take on it. Apparently, nobody else agrees.
I agree with you, Simon.
I should say the wiki does use they, I believe.
Fair.
At the time, I was working with the police to hunt him down. And then one day, a miracle occurred. The miracle happened, if you will. And I obtained a lead on him. That the miracle happened as a reference.
Oh, how exciting! What was the lead?
A recording of the Phantom's voice. But the quality was too poor for proper voice analysis. Yet, I had hope. Aura's co-worker was a scientist who could analyze human emotions. So I asked her to evaluate the recording using analytical psychology.
And that scientist was Dr. Sykes.
Do try to keep up. Yes. A spy's greatest fear is to have his true identity discovered. In addition to Hat 1, Dr. Sykes' results, and the recording were surely among their targets. But their search of the Space Center bore no fruit, so they must have started to panic.
We couldn't find them, but where could they have been?
Who's to say?
Wow. I bet he's never let that out of his sight all these years.
Can I just say, this is such dramatic music. I love it.
How in the world did you smuggle them into prison?
Don't ask how people smuggle things into prisons.
Yeah. And you won't have to listen to the answer.
Oh, I have my ways. What's more, my partner is especially talented at that sort of thing.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Hello there.
So that does confirm that Simon had Taka before prison. That's important. That's important for my own personal timeline. But
No. They met in prison. They were sharing a cell.
They were cellmates. That's how it works.
Yeah, the classic. So what are you in here for?
Bird
Beat
murder.
me by that much, Slimming.
okay. I worked to lure the Phantom in by spreading rumors throughout the underworld. I was even granted permission to prosecute cases to attract the Phantom's. I'm gonna try that again. I was even given permission to prosecute cases to attract the Phantom's attention. Just try to retrieve your identity, you bloody butcher, became my taunt. And you should know this, Chief Prosecutor Edgeworth. You were the one who granted me permission.
Every time I use it, I gain 1 bar to my EX meter.
And what about the results Dr. Sykes drew up for you? Was there any useful information?
Here, you can see for yourself. Take good care of it. It's all I have left of my mentor.
Excuse you.
I will. I better hold on to this real tight.
Sykes-chan, you are not an object. You do not count as what I have.
Oh dear.
We'll debate about this later.
Phantom's
Give it to Trucy.
Phantom psych profile added to the court record.
Subject's emotions rarely fluctuate. He doesn't experience feelings like normal people do. So,
That's creepy.
I think that's a psychopath, isn't it?
I should.
Yeah.
Let's
Let's
not diagnose.
Yeah,
please.
but I'm sorry. I mean, like the medical definition, as in the
Yeah.
person who cannot experience emotions, or is that the sociopath?
No, I believe. Okay, I've done a little research on this. So I just pushed up my glasses like Kristoff. Sorry, but
Actually.
I know this series inside and out. My point is basically this is not based on this could be correlated, I guess, with psychopathy or sociopathy, but it's not like a 1-to-1 thing because this is specifically because the key point I believe with psychopathy and sociopathy is empathy and stuff. That's not emotions themselves. Emotions themselves are not affected by any in this specific way by any disorder that I know of.
Yeah,
most disorders make them even more prevalent. You know.
In this case, it's less dad and more hitman. You know. They kind of don't have use for those emotions.
Yeah.
So they block them out.
Yeah, that's basically it. Yeah.
Psychological profile classified. Emotional output of this voice extremely weak compared to typical voices. Subject deemed to have unique psychological makeup with almost no emotional fluctuation.
Christoph Gavin, is that you?
No emotional fluctuation, huh?
You know, one of my friends fix. It is Crystal. It's a good twist. Anyways. A spy who experiences no emotions, not sadness, nor anger, and naturally, no fear. He's the very definition of a phantom, a monster with no heart. Don't you see?
They're heartless.
This creature is at the rot that destroyed our lives, and what ails us all into motion.
The Phantom, indeed. A fitting name for the one who has brought darkness to our world.
Well then, it seems a faint image of this man has started to take shape. Based on what we have learned, I'd like all of you to conduct further investigation. This is not a normal trial, but I do want to follow protocol. If I may, I'd like to hand down my verdicts and bring these proceedings to an end.
Whatever. Do what you want.
You'll hear no objections from me.
Yes, please, Your Honor. It's over. It's finally over, at least this bit.
Very well. In that case, Prosecutor Blackwell, could you please take the stand? As a result of this trial, your innocence has been proven. The verdict handed down 7 years ago is hereby overturned. And now, the defendant of the current trial, Miss Athena Sykes.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Wright, thank you. Thank you for everything.
Athena, you're more than welcome.
If everyone is ready, I will now give my verdict.
Objection!
Ah!
You?
Hi, Apollo.
Oh, the toilet
Yeah,
cleaner's
dear.
back.
Thought he'd be back.
Apollo!
What is the meaning of this? Congratulations, Mr. Wright and Prosecutor Edgeworth. You uncovered the truth from 7 years ago, and you saved Prosecutor Blackwell. However, I can't allow this trial to end just yet.
Oh boy.
Boy.
I feel so sorry for the people playing this case a long time ago and thinking, oh, I could just get this finished before I go to bed.
Nope.
No,
Yeah,
you're
anytime you
fine.
think you're done, you're not. That's just the rule.
No, I'm going to bed at 4 a.m. That's my life.
Yeah.
And that's the beginning of a cycle.
Yes.
Why, Apollo? Why would you do this to us?
Because
After all the toilets I made you clean.
cliffhanger.
To be
To be
continued.
continued. Right now!
Yeah.
It is
Um,
precisely why
do
I
we
am
wanna
doing
take our
this
break
right
now?
now, Mr.
Yeah,
Wright.
It's a little early for our break, but we'll take it now because it's the most fitting moment to take it.
I don't see another good opportunity
No,
coming.
nor do I.
Really not. There's
There really isn't, no. So we're going to take our quick break here. So we'll be right back, everyone, as we're just going to basically go to the toilet, get a drink, and get our refills and such. Won't be too long. Honestly, we'll be right back. And if you're watching the VOD, it'll begin immediately.
Let's go.
Time for a bio break.
Go.
Yay!
Back to Silly Voices stream on Saturday. I'm the audience are going to be wondering what the hell are you all laughing at, and I'm like, I've
It's
Yeah,
not explainable. Don't worry about it.
I love these people. That's all I can say.
Yeah, and we love a few too. Way back.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're just very silly people. That's why it's called Silly Voices.
That is indeed the case. Right then, let me just quickly check what's going on.
Well, tournament for tomorrow is the case.
Shh.
First warning, Kay. Kay, this is your first warning.
I think it's my first warning ever, actually.
I think so. Yeah.
I usually approve of your puns, but not that one.
This one hurt.
Well done,
This
you are
one-
now
this one
officially
damage.
one of us.
All right, let's get back to it.
Taking a bit of time to rub off on you, but it worked.
Okay.
December 20, District Court, courtroom number 4. We never left. Why am I reading this?
Is
case
this
you
in
took a
case you like
break.
save and then you come back?
Yeah.
Like it's a year
Alright.
later. I don't know.
Fair enough.
Mr.
Go,
Justice,
Pokemon.
please explain yourself.
It's very simple. There isn't much to explain. The defendant, Miss Athena Sykes, might not be innocent.
Excuse me?
What are you talking about? The case from 7 years ago has been settled.
Apollo, I swear to God.
I'm not talking about the past here. I'm talking about the present case. It's still not clear who killed Clay Tarrant.
But, Apollo, why would you?
Miss Sykes, please listen quietly to what I have to say.
What in the world is Apollo trying to do?
Your Honor, please allow me a little of the court's time.
But this trial is for the case from 7 years ago.
Miss Blackwell, I'd like to ask a favor of you. Just as you lost someone close to you, I lost someone close to me too. I'm sure you want to know the real truth of what happened as much as I do.
Sorry, pardon me. I was just having some gummy bears. Sorry.
Robot gummy bears.
No, that's fair. Trying to control hostages makes you hungry. Come on.
Yeah.
Can't go a good hostage situation without your good snacks nearby.
Exactly.
Indeed.
Apollo. Sure. You know I'm all for the truth.
No, that's a lie.
Now, let's see you expose the princess's guilt. Judge, I give my permission. Continue with the trial.
Very well. Is it all with you, Prosecutor Edgeworth?
The prosecution has no objections. Let's hear Mr. Justice's testimony. I'll have the police investigation report brought immediately.
Not you too, Edgeworth. I really hope it's because you have something up your sleeve.
Very well. Opening statement, please, Prosecutor Edgeworth.
As you wish. Let's review the case of the murder of Mr. Clay Tarrant. It was made clear in the previous trial that Solomon Starbuck was not his killer. Therefore, the true culprit was someone else.
I'd like to think the reason Edgeworth knows a lot of this immediately is because he's just following Wright's career.
No, that makes sense.
Makes sense. On that day, this culprit waited for the Castromont in the Borden Lounge 1. When the two men made their escape out of the Space Museum, the killer attacked Mr. Tarrant with the same type of knife that was used 7 years ago. The murderer then escaped into the Space Museum. Next, Director Yuri Cosmos switched the launch pads. After that, the culprit escaped the Space Museum and escaped via Boarding Lounge 2. Therefore, this trial must make clear who Mr. Tarrant's true killer was. In other words, we must discover who it was that escaped through the Space Museum that day.
Thank you, Prosecutor Edgeworth. Mr. Wright, is the defense ready?
Yes, Your Honor. I better rearrange my evidence. Just throwing out the hole in the wall. Just
Yeet!
Bring on the wall!
And throw back in the new one, the stuff that I need. Thank you.
Trucy, the spare binder!
Just throw it. I'll catch it.
Trussy's kidnapped.
Oh, God. That just makes it even more
Pearls in
sad.
that case.
Yes.
Aww.
Oh.
It's pearls then in that case.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now then, Mr. Justice, your testimony, if you please.
I think it might be crunching a little.
No, that
It
was me
definitely is
fighting with
now.
my
Witness
bottle.
testimony.
Apollo
After
Justice's
the crunch
accusation.
fix.
Oh, is it
Crunching.
is actually crunching?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
In that case,
Oh,
fixing the crunch. There we go.
the crunch has been fixed.
Yee.
You may proceed with your testimony.
I suspected Miss Sykes of the murder of Clay Tarrant. My growing suspicions were confirmed when this incriminating evidence presented itself. In addition, she's the only one who could have utilized the launch pad switch to escape. That is why I wish to indict Miss Sykes on the charge of murder.
Yeah, Joey.
You absolutely
Order.
backstabbing little toilet brush.
Order in the court! Mr. Justice, you realize you're charging your own co-worker with murder, don't you?
Yes, Your Honor, because that is the conclusion my investigation has led to. Plus, I will not brush out of the toilet as long as I live.
I said this is all because of the toilets.
But Apollo, why? How could you suspect me too?
I'll be
In
honest.
fairness to-
I'll be honest. I'll be honest. Nothing against you. It's against Mr. Wright. I just don't like the way his managing style.
Honestly, that's fair.
Mr. Wright,
Proceed.
go on, Shadow.
In fairness to Apollo, he has had to convict his mentor, and now has to now in his mind has to convict a co-worker. Like this is you know,
Yeah.
he has precedent for
Par
this.
for the course.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's getting used to it, is what you're saying.
Mr. Wright, your
Yeah.
cross-examination, please.
I don't get it. Just what did you find out over the past few days to make you think this?
I have a feeling we're gonna find some sight locks in a minute.
Cross-examination.
No. This, as I said before, Cyclops in court. That's the only time the black Cyclops.
Oh.
So no
I
Cyclops.
don't know why they chose to do that way. They also notably in Apollo Justice the game, they use perceive only in court, but in the 3D games they only I believe they only use it in mostly. There's like a couple exceptions. They mostly 90% of the time use it in investigation. It's interesting, and then Matrix is always in court.
What
Oh,
first
that
made you
works.
suspicious of Miss Sykes?
It all started when Miss Sykes and I were investigating the crime scene. When she saw the weapon that killed her, Mr. Terran, my bracelet reacted. She said she'd never seen the knife before, but my bracelet told me otherwise. And then, every time after that, my bracelet would react when she talked about the case.
Poor Apollo must have been beside himself during that investigation.
Can you believe that? The fact that you're talking about the case of someone who your friend who was killed, and your co-worker is saying things and it's setting off your bracelet, which is a lie detector.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to do or think. I couldn't even sleep. In that condition, I knew I wouldn't be any good in court. So I decided to wear an eye patch so I wouldn't be able to perceive any of her tells.
So that's why Apollo was acting so strangely.
That's why he left, because it was driving him up the bleeding wall.
Yeah. He probably also, I don't know if this is in its presence, right, but he also probably took off his bracelet. But since it's all about, the bracelet helps you notice when you're noticing, he still noticed.
Oh yeah, of course, because it enhances his powers, doesn't it? Because in Apollo Justice, Trucy says she has similar powers, but not amplified to the way that Apollo's is.
All right. Okay. To clarify this here, basically the difference is Trucy doesn't have the like. She doesn't have the alert. Hey, you're noticing something lying. Whereas she has to focus and make sure she's seeing that because she can still see it. Whereas Apollo has the bracelet, which when he tenses because he's noticing something but he doesn't realize it, it tightens on his wrist and he's like, oh, I'm noticing something. Yeah, it's fascinating. It's a cool mechanic.
Yeah.
But the reason Miss Sykes unconsciously reacted to the knife that way was because she stabbed her mother's murderer with one identical to it 7 years ago.
Objection! But that knife was also the murder weapon that was used to kill Clay Terran. My bracelet could have also reacted to her because she knew she was his killer too.
That's probably looking familiar to anyone.
What's
I
that?
guess he has a point.
I'll bring it up when it happens again.
My bracelet wasn't the only reason I became suspicious of her. Oh?
That's the lighter that was found in the Space Museum with her fingerprints on it, correct? But even if it seems decisive, there must be other facts we don't know about yet.
If that's so, go ahead and prove it then. Look, honestly, I don't want to believe it's true either. But Miss Sykes is the only one who was in the Space Museum at the time of the murder.
What are you not telling us?
But Mr. Justice, Miss Sykes had absolutely no motive to kill Mr. Terran.
Objection! 7 years ago, Miss Sykes lived at the Cosmos Space Center. It wouldn't be strange if she had some kind of connection to him. Besides, people sometimes kill for motives we can't even imagine.
Yeah, I wonder why that is, Apollo.
I know you've seen plenty of cases like that in your own career, Mr. Wright.
I still can't believe this. How can you actually suspect Athena, Apollo?
So welcome. I'll get to this later. Hold it.
Huh?
Isn't it possible that somebody else used that same escape route?
I'm afraid not, Mr. Wright.
Why not?
Recall there is a security camera in the boarding lounge 1 aimed at the launchpad door. It's the camera that captured Mr. Terra and Mr. Starbuck. But there's also another security camera in boarding lounge 2.
Of course.
It recorded Mr. Terran's killer, or rather, Miss Sykes, coming out of the Space Museum.
A camera in boarding lounge 2? First I've heard of it, but it makes sense. Athena said she'd snuck into the Space Museum the night before the incident, and then was overcome and passed out until around noon the next day.
Yeah, kind of regretting my life choices right about now.
Also passed out. Damn, that poor girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trauma.
Trauma will do that to you.
So how can you be not noticed lying in the museum passed out till noon?
Depends how many people are
She's
there.
in a-
She did.
If
She
she's
said
in
she
the
did
dark
behind
corner.
yeah, she did in the dark corner behind an exhibit of some kind.
Yeah.
Exactly
Until
as
about
you
the
guys
launch.
said.
No, go ahead.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I finished.
Okay.
No, I finished. I finished.
Get on with it!
I was out until about noon of the next day. I didn't even know about the explosions. When I woke up, nobody was around, so I just went out into boarding lot number 2.
That must have been when the camera captured her. In a net. And that's what made Apollo suspect her even more. But wait a minute. In that case, it was most likely recorded the true culprit as well.
Objection! That's a negative on that one too, Mr. Wright. In the footage taken after the incident, Miss Sykes is the only one who appears.
What? Why?
Order. Order in the court.
That can't be. What if it is? Then it's incredibly incriminating.
Wasn't it you who proved the previous trial that the way the true culprit escaped was via the Space Museum after the pads had been switched? Fact you previously proved turned on its ear, leaving your client high and dry. I must say, that is vintage Phoenix Wright.
Vintage.
Oofington!
So retro.
Oh?
Believing in your client to the end is a basic principle of good defense. Shouldn't you extend the same principle to your own co-worker?
Not really, no.
No.
You're probably right. Maybe I'm not even fit to be a lawyer. However, I don't care. This case is special to me. Clay was my friend. And that's why I just have to know the truth.
Apollo suspected his trusted co-worker of killing his friend. To dispel his doubts, he investigated on his own, but that only led to more doubts. Apollo must have really been struggling with this. Well, Apollo may have doubts, but I'll say it again. Athena Sykes isn't the murderer.
Then I have only one thing to say. Evidence is everything in court.
And we stop there. Everyone look at the bench.
Yeah, and
I
I
am
told you
pointing
that.
aggressively.
I'm pointing aggressively.
Like, it's
Sorry,
the
that's
parallels.
not-
They're not even saying Kristoff's name, but his presence is still felt in Apollo.
Oh,
His-
It frustrates me that they're not actually mentioning him,
Yeah.
but like, fuck!
Not just that, the pose as well.
The pose is the
Yeah.
same! I have other sprite parallels actually. I have them. I saved a couple because this specific bit drives me insane in like the best way. There you go. That's the full thing. Oh god. Okay. Sorry. I had to make that clear because it's easy to miss if you're not paying all the attention. But it's there.
For those at home, go and look at Christoph's sprite sheet against Apollo's movements with the jacket in the game, and you'll see that they are very much alike.
Yeah,
and he said evidence is everything.
Yep.
Even it's a mirror reflection, especially the second and the third. It's mirroring. That's amazing. I love that.
Well, Mr. Wright, I think you have the concrete proof.
Sorry, Mac.
Go on.
No.
I was gonna say distant K noises.
Basically.
Well, Mr. Wright, think you have the concrete proof to knock down my arguments?
You're damn right.
Your arguments have been very clear, Mr. Justice. And your facts appear to be indisputable.
Well, Mr. Wright, what do you think of my theory?
I think it's bollocks, mate.
I think you're hiding something from us, sir.
It
Lots of things.
It looks like not even you can deny it. Miss Sykes was the only one who used the only possible escape route. Under these circumstances, there can't be no other suspect but the defendant. Unless you think there was an alternative escape route. Is that what you think, Mr. Wright?
Is that what you think, Mr. Wright?
Are we strongly implying that this is what we think?
Is that what you think, Phoenix?
I don't know. Is that what I think?
It's more the fact that it's Apollo like saying, please think of something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Poor thing is
Was there
struggling between his mentors. Let's be real.
Mhm.
Was there an
Yeah, there
alternative
definitely
escape route?
wasn't the
Of course.
alternate escape route.
Yes, of course there must have been. Just don't ask me what.
You're just bluffing again, aren't you?
He's been bluffing this entire time, Polo.
Bluff? No way! He knows me too well.
Listen, he bluffs good enough to actually win poker, so...
It's fine, Mr. Wright. Even a bluff would suit me just fine. As long as you can clear up this doubt inside me.
Wait! So is that what this is all about?
I want to believe in Athena. I really do.
Playing her theme right now.
What is faith without doubt? That's why I need to question her guilt. That once the truth finally comes out, I can really, fully trust her.
So yeah, I feel like this is an important thing because it's like you have to believe your client to the bitter end. It's like, well, sometimes you have to be like, okay, but what if they did it? You know what I mean?
Yeah. This is the fundamental dichotomy between Apollo and Phoenix, because of how they were trained as lawyers.
Yeah.
Like gestures at all of Apollo Justice, the video game.
Yes. Yeah.
Versus
That's an impressive gesture.
versus how Mia trained Phoenix, and like how Diego trained her with always believe in your client. And then but then how Apollo every person he defended in that entire game is a criminal.
Not just that, but every single person is lying to him, even Phoenix.
And his especially Kristoff.
Oh my god.
Listen,
Yes.
Can you get higher pitched?
please do not mock me. I'm very passionate.
No, that was no.
I'm not mocking you at all.
We love it. You just
It was
continue
This is
on.
the reason why you came along with us in the first place,
This
because
is the
you
reason why
bring
you're
this
here.
passion.
Yes.
You bring the passion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me make it clear.
It's a-
I was not mocking.
It's
Okay.
infectious.
So,
Oh god.
you know?
So that you can really trust me?
It seems your junior partner has just showed us what trials are truly all about.
In fairness to Apollo, I think he's going to have a lot of trust. I think he's just having a lot of trust issues. Let's just put the point on the end of that
Yeah.
sentence.
You can't blame the boy.
Just in general. That's why he has anxiety.
Yeah. Also, if you look at Apollo Justice the game again, yeah, that's warranted.
Yeah.
Yeah. I believe you're right.
We prosecutors painstakingly question every detail in pursuit of the defendant.
While we lawyers believe in and defend our clients to the end.
When both sides go all out against each other, that's when we discover the truth.
Precisely. And when the battle is over, you'll understand the meaning of trust. That's exactly what trials are about. Wouldn't you agree?
Art.
Yeah.
Truth comes to hang out.
I couldn't ignore the seeds of doubt that was growing inside me. So I decided I needed to face it head on. No matter what the truth is that's waiting ahead, I won't be afraid.
That's so like Apollo. Always uber earnest about things like this. Mr. Justice, I vow to dispel every last bit of doubt in your heart.
Good. Because I won't believe in Miss Sykes again. Sorry, I want to believe.
Won't?
Yeah.
I won't believe that you're the killer. I want to believe that you're innocent.
There we go.
Freudian slip, jeez.
Even now, I'm full of doubt.
Safe.
Even now, I'm full of
Hoping there
doubt.
was an alternative route, aren't you, Apollo? But if I use the process of elimination, there really aren't that many possibilities. Director Cosmos was at the southern exit, leaving only the control room and the corridor to the Space Museum. Which door could the culprit have escaped through?
Come on, Mr. Wright. Where do you think the culprit escaped to?
I mean,
There's only one place they can go,
it's got to be because Cosmos went up to the control room, right, to swap them around.
so
Yes.
it must be the corridor.
Must be in the corridor.
They really only could have escaped to the corridor to the Space Museum. All they had to do was use the unconscious Mr. Starbucks Prince to get through the door.
Objection! It appears that all you're trying to establish is Miss Sykes' guilt. If the culprit used that route, the only exit would have been into Boarding Lounge 2. The logical conclusion of your argument is that the killer is none other than the defendant.
Ah,
I knew it. That's the only way it could be, huh?
shut the fuck up, Apollo.
If the culprit escaped into the museum that leads to the Space Museum, I guess it's true. The only exit would have been into Boarding Lounge 2.
But Miss Sykes was the only person captured by the Boarding Lounge 2 security camera.
I investigated the crime scene thoroughly. But the only place the culprit could have escaped to was the Space Museum corridor. There weren't any other secret corridors or anything. So that leaves us with no other conclusion to draw but that Athena Sykes was the culprit.
Did anyone check whether the culprit was not staying at the museum all day and left the next day?
What could the answer be? Was there really no other escape route? But, hold on a second. What if?
Did they just double back?
Where did those mysterious leaves we saw in the corridor come from? What if they're a clue to the culprit's real escape route? I think it is possible that the culprit escaped into the Space Museum, but then came out using a route other than into Boarding Lounge 2.
Oh?
Launchpad 1 and the Space Museum was switched after the bombing, meaning the Space Museum corridor was moving along the rail at the time,
Oh, they must have opened the bulkhead then.
which is
Yeah, and
exactly when
jumped
an
on a
alternative
tree.
escape route opened for our culprit.
Are you kidding me? Judging by the intense look in your eyes, I take it you're serious.
Always.
Very well, then, Mr. Wright, do tell. Where could the culprit have gone from the museum corridor besides boarding lounge 2?
Just
Anywhere on the
somewhere up the top.
outside.
Somewhere up top, I assume. Like outside, but up top.
Yeah, the outside area.
Just outside the building.
Like, if that's the way it went, it would be up there somewhere.
We found something odd while investigating the museum corridor this afternoon. Namely, a few dead leaves on the floor. Considering where dead leaves come from,
They made like a tree and leafed.
Shadow Phoenix Rider. That was a good one.
That was not a good one. I disagree.
objection.
The strikes.
I don't care for your
Overruled.
objection.
Sustained.
Overruled, bitch.
They point us to exactly where the culprit escaped to.
Yeah, I remember seeing some leaves myself. Ah! Do you mean...
Yep. While the Space Museum was in motion, just beyond the corridor's safety door, was an alternative place that the culprit could use to escape.
There must have been a door override or something.
In other words, the culprit's real escape route was the area outside the Space Center.
You just fucked up.
You're freaking
insane!
Yeah, he is.
Objection! Do you know how impossible that would be? That corridor is level with the 3rd floor. Even if the culprit tried to leap to the outside wall of the space in a building, they would fall to their death.
I know exactly
But
where
you're
this is going.
forgetting that they're a ninja.
Ordinarily, yes, but they're a ninja. But after the bombing incident, the culprit could have made use of a certain item.
They're into parkour.
Yep.
And what item was it exactly, Mr. Wright?
All right. This is what the culprit used to leap to the ground to the outside wall of the main building.
Find an emergency ladder somewhere.
Bingo!
An emergency ladder?
There was an emergency ladder in the 4th floor robotics lab. And it was used that day after the explosions to help evacuate people. Ms. Blackwell herself used that ladder to escape down to ground level. Recall that the launch pads were switched after the ladder was lowered. Alley-oop.
Bye.
The corridor would have passed by the ladder while the pads were being switched. And that's when the culprit literally sprang into action. And leapt onto the ladder.
What? Who'd be imagined?
Like a leaping lunatic.
Order! Order in the court! Well, an alternative escape route seems to have emerged.
Also, is this why they call it jumping to conclusions?
Ayo.
Which means
I took a drink at the wrong time. Luckily, no. I kept it in. But
Wait.
I was so close. I was so close.
Which means someone other than Miss Sykes could have been the culprit, right? Objection. Making things up on the fly in an attempt to sway the court again, are we, Mr. Wright? Your theory has so many holes, it puts Swiss cheese to shame.
Alright. Name one.
I have here detailed information about the Space Center. According to this, the distance between the museum corridor and the main building during movement is...
A lot.
a full 20 feet.
20 feet? You're pulling my leg, right?
That's 3 1/3 Bs.
In addition, the corridor is 3 floors from the ground, or roughly 50 feet. What's more, the culprit, who would be leaping to a precarious place, an unstable ladder.
He has a point.
Human beings feel fear in dangerous situation.
No.
It's a basic survival instinct.
Except
this-
this person did
Yeah.
not.
Doesn't. Yep.
An ordinary person would certainly
Yeah.
hesitate before jumping,
Ordinary people.
They're no ordinary person.
or even freeze in fear and not jump at all.
No, but the culprit had just murdered someone. They weren't in ordinary state of mind.
Objection. Nevertheless, why would they have taken that kind of risk? They could have waited for the switch to be completed and escaped to Boarding Lounge 2.
Because there was a security camera in boarding lounge 2. The culprit knew they would be recorded if they left the Space Museum that way.
Objection. In that case, the culprit could have hidden in the museum until things settled down, and then blended in with the other people after the museum was opened.
That's a good point.
But you claim that, despite all this, the culprit took a 20-foot death-defying leap, and all in the brief moment the corridor and ladder passed by each other.
That's also a good point.
They would have needed a running start while the corridor was moving to make that jump. If that timing was off, or if they couldn't jump far enough, it would have been instant death. What kind of person would attempt something like that?
Well, it wouldn't have been instant death. It would just be a slow, painful ow. And then death.
Stop bringing up good points, Edgeworth.
Damn
I
it,
just
Edgeworth,
imagine,
stop
like-
making sense.
I just imagine like the GTA wasted thing popping up.
This true culprit of yours is nothing but a figment of your imagination.
Why do you always have to point out every flaw?
I thought you were on my side. I thought you loved me.
Zed was right. That does sound pretty insane. The culprit would have to be someone who feels no fear, like a stuntman.
But everyone feels fear on some level, right?
No.
He's
Have
not,
you not been paying
he's not
attention
a
to your own
figment
damn
of my
case?
imagination. He's more like a phantom of my imagination.
Yes.
Wait a minute.
Hey.
But like, have you not
Aha!
been paying attention to your own case? Come on.
I've got it this time.
We need to build the tension drifting for the drama.
No. This
He
is
has
great.
ADHD. He's doing his best.
I can relate to that.
Actually, I cannot accept it. That's fine. Moving on.
Yeah. I can prove that there is someone who could have used this alternative escape route.
Oh, can you now?
This proves the possibility of a person who could have used this alternative escape route. Take that! There you go.
What's that thing, Mr. Wright?
None of your business, Apollo. It's secret.
This is a certain person's very interesting psych profile.
And you can't have it.
The subject doesn't experience feelings like normal people do.
If we
End
give it
quote.
out, Backwheel will decapitate us. So
And then he will be put in jail for murder.
Yeah, exactly.
In other words, this person doesn't feel happiness, sadness, or fear.
Doesn't feel fear?
It's Agent 47.
Oh, right. You can't be serious.
I am serious, and don't call me Shirley.
Without the constraint of fear. He could easily do what an ordinary person wouldn't dare. The fear.
I was waiting for that.
Yeah. Just as you or I could do a broad jump on the ground without the slightest fear. This subject could make a 20-foot leap, 50 feet up in the air. He could choose this extreme way of escaping without hesitation.
You're saying that to a person without fear, the alternative route would be a quicker and eliminate the chance that they'd be spotted? That's definitely pretty extreme, Mr. Wright.
But was there such a person there at the scene?
Yes, the Phantom, that mysterious, shadowy figure who keeps popping up.
No dear.
The Phantom again?
I knew the Phantom was there behind the scenes of the Space Center bombing, but I wasn't sure if he was connected to the murder of Clay Terran as well. However, now it's all clear. The Phantom is the one who not only bombed the Space Center, but also killed Mr. Terran.
What? What?
To death.
That really needed to just morph into each other, and that would
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
That was a
Order
very
in the-
nice duet of Ebac and Ebac.
Yes.
Order in the court! Order, I say! Mr. Wright, please continue.
There was just too many similarities between this case and the one from 7 years ago. But why, you may ask? It can only be because both incidents were the work of the same Phantom.
So then, this Phantom is the one who killed Clay? But who is he?
God knows.
This Phantom has been haunting this case, pulling the strings in the background this entire time. Who could this unidentified international spy be?
Right.
Larry Bird.
This escape route must have been part of the Phantom's plan from the start. As was tricking Director Cosmo.
Someone is dying, but I don't know why.
Bert, please don't kill Laura.
This is what happened when you zone out. You miss stuff like this.
Bert, you said it was Larry Butts.
Oh no! Oh god.
Somebody call weird. We need it.
Wait. So why are you?
Oh my god.
The Phantom is Larry?
Of
Yes.
course! He's been there
Okay.
since the very first case of this entire franchise!
Okay. I'm just gonna quietly write that down.
I sense an AU emerging in the distance.
My cheeks hurt.
Quietly adding that to me downstairs.
Oh, God.
It.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Wow.
I'm going to
Oh
cry.
my god.
I can only say I regret nothing.
Okay.
Oh my god. Okay.
Oh
Yeah,
my
go
God,
for it.
There's tears in my eyes.
Oh yeah. Holy shoot. Please continue, Ebac.
As was tricking Director Cosmos into switching the launch pads. The bomb on the second floor was meant to make the elevators and upstairs unstable. Unusable, I should say. That's why he gave advance warning and planted the bomb where he did.
Yes, I think you're right. But it doesn't explain this one last thing.
So I lowered my emergency ladder like the detective leading this evacuation told me to. Can I break character a moment? Fuck, I've just realized it.
Continue.
But it was such a pain. Why couldn't they have used the ladders in the other rooms? It's just hit me.
The robotics lab wasn't the only room with an emergency ladder. But he couldn't have made that leap unless he was certain which one it could be.
So you mean Phantom must be someone who knew that particular ladder was going to be used?
That's right.
Who could it be?
Wait a minute. Wait one goddamn minute.
So I lowered my emergency ladder like the detective leading the evacuation told me to.
That effect was amazing.
Ms. Blackwell lowered the ladder after being told to by the detective leading the... Ah! You gotta be kidding me!
Did you figure it out right? Do you know who the Phantom is?
Yes, I do!
But I don't want to.
Who is it? Who killed Clay?
Our mystery spy, known as the Phantom, is none other.
Captain Justice
Captain Justice.
himself.
Detective Dick Gumshoe!
No!
No, that's the wrong detective.
Gumshoe is a good boy. I want to give you a strike for that, Lemming. Stop it.
I am Gumshoe, you can't.
Shush.
After the
And
explosion,
she is waiting
Yes.
during the rafters with a confetti
Shut.
ready.
I don't know who this is.
Hang on.
I think that's Phoenix.
After the explosions, a member of the staff crossed paths with a certain detective.
I was on duty on the 4th floor. It was quite the madhouse, I tell you.
Phoenix, yes.
As for the detective who was leading the evacuation from the 4th floor, he had very specific objective in mind.
So I lowered my emergency ladder like the detective leading the evacuation told me to.
Is that 3 or 4 repeats of that one?
Yes.
Too many!
His objective was to secure his own escape route.
We lowered an emergency ladder from a 4th floor window and escaped that way. Once everyone got out safely, I made my way down too and headed to the shelter.
This is a detective you all know. He's even the lead detective on the current case. He appears to be a very emotional man, but his psych profile says he is without emotion.
Take that!
What are you saying? Me the Phantom is...
Detective Bobby Fulbright!
Exactly. We were all taken in by his fake persona. Detective Fulbright's real identity is the Phantom.
Order! Order in the court! Mr. White, how could this be?
That's easy, Your Honor. Detective Fulbright was leading the 4th floor evacuation effort. Our first clue is that he made no attempt to have any other ladder put to use. The ladder on the robotics lab is the only one he ordered to be lowered. The second is that he directed everybody to the basement shelter via this ladder.
Verily, it was all part of his plan to create an escape route.
After Detective Fulbright saw to it that the ladder was lowered from the robotics lab, he went to the lounge where he killed Clay Terran and escaped into the Space Museum. The museum started moving slowly, so he waited for the right time, got a running start, and just as the corridor was passing the ladder, he leapt onto it.
I don't believe it. Addleplate, the detective, did all that. Was it really him? I mean, all this time I thought... Sorry, we didn't catch your name.
My name? I'm Bobby Fulbright! The heroic detective who defends our good citizens from evil. A champion of justice who comes running whenever you're in need. And my catchphrase, in justice we trust.
The terror that flaps in the night.
His concern for Simon was also just one big act?
I swore to reform Possible Rockwell and make him a valued member of society again. So I can't just sit by and watch him give in to his emotions and tear the defendant apart.
That monster killed Clay? He can't be completely fooled. I'll think of it. He's the one that brought that bloodstained lighter to court too. The scumbag even made me turn on Athena. Damn it! How the hell did I fall for that? And to have wormed his way into the police department as well. Ugh.
Yeah, this is how manipulators work, unfortunately.
Yep. Your Honor, the defense demands to question Detective Bobby Fulbright.
Yes, I agree that we need to hear from him right away. The court will take a short recess, and then Detective Fulbright will take the stand.
December 20, 5:13 p.m. District Court. Defendant lobby. Number 5. Mambo number 5.
I was just thinking that.
Damn it!
I was just. I've got some
Beat you to
questions
it.
to ask. Kay, do you think we could get this done tonight? Within an hour. I'm not saying like if we go over time. I don't think so. I don't think we can.
We cannot get this completely done. No.
No. My thinking is that we finish early this week. We then pick this up next week at a nice moment. We then also have time up. We have plenty of time to finish the case, plus time afterwards for like a roundtable discussion on the game itself. And then we can lead into teasing the next game.
See,
I'm
my
okay with that.
my thought is that there's still a lot left. If we leave it now, we might not have time for the roundtable. There's a lot left of this.
Yeah.
True.
Either way, we're pushing it. Either way.
Yeah.
I mean, either way, we're not finishing it today.
No, we're definitely not finishing it
Definitely
tonight.
not finishing
No
it today.
chance.
No chance.
But if you want to do a roundtable, I do not think we have any time to
Okay.
do it any more next week. I know this is a great place to stop, but I don't see it happening. If you know what I mean.
Let's go for it then.
Thank you
There
so
could be
much,
another
Mr.
good
Wright.
point later.
If it wasn't for everything you did, I...
Don't thank me yet. We still have an uphill battle to fight.
You got it, boss. Aw.
Sweet boy.
I want to give him a hug.
Apollo?
Well, this is awkward.
Athena, can you do me a favor?
Huh? What is it?
Could you punch me, please?
What? What should I do that?
He
Because
just enjoys it.
Because I should have believed in you. Let the seed of doubt inside me get the best of me. I'm really sorry that I didn't trust. Ow!
There you go.
Don't be such a dope. I was really touched by what you did.
Huh? What are you talking about? I want to believe in Athena. I really do. What is faith without doubt? That's why I need to question her guilt. So that once the truth finally comes out, I can really fully trust her.
You took the time and effort to genuinely think about who I am and what I'm made of. After all that, how could I punch a true friend like you, Apollo?
You didn't have any trouble slapping him a second ago.
That's different. Shut up.
Thanks, Athena. And thanks for waking me up to reality again.
Guess I know now who to call if I ever get sleepy in court.
Yeah, sure, I'll suplex you over the table, it's fine. I'm assuming that's Edgeworth.
It is Edgeworth, yes.
Looks like you have some promising young people working under you.
Edgeworth. Yeah, I think they're pretty great myself. And they're not afraid to keep me in line.
Anyway, I have some very good news. Aura Blackwell has surrendered, and the hostages have been set free.
Trucy and all the others? Oh, thank goodness!
Miss Blackwell said she had something she really needed to do, so I granted her special permission to do what she must.
I wonder what it is. Miss Blackwell!
I didn't come to apologize, if that's what you're thinking. My actions are what allowed the truth of what happened 7 years ago to come to light. But I did come because I had something to say to all of you.
Miss Aura?
She better not be here to complain about something.
Miss Blackwell, I want to apologize to you. The fact that you couldn't trust the court system is our fault.
Yes, yeah, it's true the courts are filled with incompetent idiots.
Also, we're being raided by Killison. Hello, everyone.
Hello
Oh, nice.
Welcome to the stream.
What's up? Still,
Give me a second.
I suppose I could let you handle the rest of this case for me.
Oh, Miss Aura, does this mean you're starting to trust the system again?
Not likely.
Ow!
No, of course not! Be quiet, hunk of junk! It's just... I wouldn't mind if you were the ones who took Menace's killer down.
Leave it to us. We'll get him.
So I guess that means she's starting to trust us at least.
Aura.
Simon, I'm so glad both you and the princess were cleared of all suspicion. And it's all thanks to me and my robots. You'd better be grateful.
I never imagined you would go that far. Though you always were extreme. But I don't recall ever requesting your help.
As close as ever, I see. Well, now you've been released, I guess it's my turn to go live in the slammer.
I initially read that line as closeted as Everest.
Correct. Your Honor, they're both gay.
What?
Your Honor, you outed me for God's sake.
It's Ace Attorney, we're all queer here.
Yes.
Yeah,
Queer
correct.
attorney. It's queer
Yeah, I
attorney.
mean, it's not straight attorney. It's ace attorney.
Absolutely not. The only straight are going straight to jail.
I just hope you're not the prosecutor from my trial.
That would be a conflict of interest.
When
Should
has this game
probably
ever
give me
cared
the
about
death-
that?
And you'd probably give me the death penalty.
It's never been a case of literal people being related. I assume conflict of interest would apply here.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know me all too well.
I guess love can take on a variety of expressions, including stunted in their case.
But I truly was about to be executed tomorrow. Though, because of you, it looks like I won't be crossing the sticks just yet. You have my heartfelt thanks, Aura. I'm sorry I caused you so much anguish.
Simon. I'm so glad, Simon. So glad to hear you say that.
Aura.
That's enough of that. Bailiff, take me to the detention center.
I have an Uno to play.
I'll bring the cards.
Don't let anyone make up rules for you.
What, for me? No,
I
of course
know
not.
No, I'm talking. I'm
I kn-
talking to my sister.
I know about the +2 rule, Simon. Don't worry about it.
It's not
Yeah,
a rule.
girl,
It's
you
not
might-
in the book.
As Uno goes,
I
you
mean,
make your own
I
rules,
do-
girl.
I do mean, I know it's not a rule. I'll be fine. Winks.
Okay. All right.
What Miss Blackwell did was inexcusable. Making up your own rules in Uno. I mean, who does that?
No, that's me, though. I make up my rules.
They're less rules and more like guidelines.
Rules are meant to be broken, people.
But it's clear she
No,
did it out
nothing's
of love for her brother.
I still can't wrap my mind around Detective Fulbright being the Phantom.
I can't believe he killed Clay.
Right. And murdered my mentor, which brought great distress upon little Athena. Chief Prosecutor Edgeworth.
Yes.
I would ask a favor. Would you allow me to stand at the prosecutor's bench for this trial? I wish to claim the Phantom's head by my own hand.
That was my plan all along. After all, it's highly unconventional for a man of my position to stand in court.
Sir.
Formal paperwork is yet to be filed, but you're hereby conditionally released. Please take the prosecutor's bench in your official capacity and uncover the truth by your own hand.
You can even take off the handcuffs if you want.
I'm much obliged. The day to part with these has come at last. Chief Prosecutor, could you? I don't know why he has the keys, but okay.
'Cause he does.
How long have I waited? Maybe it's a sense of freedom. Even the air seems fresher, light, brighter.
They're no longer blocking my full power.
And I will relish slashing that blackguard Fulbright to shreds without mercy.
I must admit, it always was a little bit sus that Fulbright could electrocute Blackwell just so easily.
Mm-hmm.
I never noticed that until
Yeah.
reconsidering.
Yeah. There's
I'm
not.
just
I feel like-
picturing. Sorry, go on.
I was just gonna say I don't feel like there's as much foreshadowing as I would prefer, but that is one of the pieces of foreshadowing that does exist.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I'm just glad that that Blackwell didn't break his chains this time, because he probably would have been made to pay for all of them.
Yeah.
I don't have to be able to read his heart and see how happy he is.
I'm so glad, but I won't cry just yet.
After all, we still
I
gotta
got a
try
bent-
to
I got a
finish.
Ventomoider.
It's okay to cry, Athena. I promise.
Not right now.
Yeah, I did
I have things
I
to
did it
do.
today. It's fine.
Mr. Blackwell, Mr. Wright, please avenge Clay's death for me.
What are you talking about, Apollo? You're coming to the defense's bench with me.
I am?
You are.
Well, I can't expect Athena to assist me now, can I? She's the defendant.
You
That
were the
leaves
defendant
you,
once,
Apollo.
Phoenix.
Granted.
Are you sure you want me? I took a leave of absence and everything.
Well, our office is pretty short-handed, and you're all I've got.
Thank you, Mr. Wright.
Also, we could use that mechanic you have.
Yeah,
Absolutely,
really
yeah.
useful.
Apollo,
Athena, I can say it with all my heart now. I believe in your complete innocence. And now we're going to prove it to the world.
Thank you, Apollo. I know you can do it.
I had a different dialogue in mind when he said that. I was, Athena, I can say it with my full heart now.
Cutscene.
Shush, shush.
Because I'm fine now.
That's a man right there.
God damn it.
I knew that was coming, honestly.
Now this is the Apollo I know.
Welcome back, Apollo.
See? It was really easy to just get over it.
It's almost time for the trial to restart, though it looks like you have things well in hand.
Well, you almost made me choke on my drink, Laura. Thank you.
Yep.
I should head back to the prosecutor's office.
Got to be there in time for the ending cutscene.
But why?
I want to look into a few things, namely the first people on the scene 7 years ago, the facial data registered by the robot, and Detective Fulbright's background.
Sounds great, Edgeworth. Thanks.
I expect to be repaid with a victory, right? Now, if you excuse me.
Hi, Miles.
Okay. You two all set to go?
You bet I am.
Let's do this.
This is it. The final battle. The murder of Apollo's friend. The courtroom bombing incident. And the case that ushered in the dark age of the law 7 years ago. Destiny has called for us to bring the one responsible for all to justice today.
You could even say a dual destiny.
Mhm.
Hey!
Hey!
Roll credits.
Roll credits.
Yeah.
December 20, 5:27 p.m. District Court. Courtroom number 4. Still.
It's still my birthday. It is my
Nice.
birthday.
Yay!
Happy birthday.
Yay!
Happy
At the
birthday.
time we convene.
The defense is ready, Your Honor.
Prosecution has never been more ready.
He has a friend.
No, this is the first time we've been at the defense bench together since I debuted.
Now that you mention it. Although back then I thought you were more loud than you were reliable.
Wow! This is what I come back to?
Apollo's just like, alright, I'm out.
Expected otherwise? You've really come a long way since then, Apollo. You've grown a lot.
Well, there have been some hiccups, but I guess I've done pretty well.
He's still got that ego of his, though.
Let's go to backward. With the 7-year mistake now resolved, you can finally take your rightful place. Yes, I guess we can keep the chip up for later. Bailiff, please bring in the witness immediately.
Even with those handcuffs, our Prosecutor Black Girl seems to be pretty much the same.
7 years of grumpiness doesn't go away so easily, I guess.
Ha ha ha! Bobby Fulbright here. I heard I was needed on the stand, so here I am. Detective Fulbright. Do you know why you have been called to give testimony? Yep, because there's only one reason why I'd be called. And that is because it's time for justice! In justice we trust!
Objection!
You can't fool us with the act anymore. Your justice is nothing but lies.
I would have done the thing.
Eh?
I would have
Go
cut
on.
the theme of Bobby Fulbright right there immediately when we had the objection.
Yeah, with the
Yeah.
scratch.
That
like,
That would have
Yeah.
that would have just completed. That would have just really completed that effect. Like he didn't even get time to get into his shtick.
What?
Like-
Are you questioning the integrity of my sense of justice?
I guess
Yes.
in criminals we trust after all.
Well, he
Well,
did say injustice. We
He does
trust.
say injustice. We trust, as Shadow pointed out.
Oh yeah.
No, that's a callback to the defective Fulbright thing.
Yeah.
Effective Fulbright.
I mean, sure, sometimes I make mistakes, but hey.
Even if Fulbright's a murderer, he is my pure little meow meow and has never done anything wrong in his life.
He's
I was gonna say, Shadow, are you ever gonna trust me again? Like,
he's acting exactly the same as always.
Tell me about it. He must be feeling awfully confident.
Fulbright, if you wish to dispel our suspicions, then let's get to your testimony.
all right, fine. You want me to prove my righteousness? Certainly can do that.
You can try.
With this testimony.
Embodiment of justice.
Thank you. I was hoping you'd say it like that when I saw it. I am the very embodiment of justice itself. I won't have you make me into a villain with far-fetched arguments. And this bit about the escape route is only a theory. You don't have any proof. What we do have is proof that Athena Sykes is the culprit. This lighter with her prints on it.
He's Captain Justice. He can make those kind of jumps.
So you're saying the suspicions against you are completely false, and that the defendant is the real culprit? That's right! Mr. Lawyer's escape route is totally circumstantial. He doesn't have any proof that I'd made a big leap onto the ladder.
We don't have proof. You're correct about that. However, you don't have any proof for your claim either.
I
Good
guess
point.
you're right. But you can't define justice with evidence. Who can define it anyway? Justice just is!
Objection!
Very clever.
Objection! Don't
First
make
war.
me break out a dictionary on you.
also-
Please don't throw the book at me!
First warning for Bobby Fulbright. I repeat,
Ah.
Bobby Fulbright.
Tell me the Phantom didn't just make me set up a stupid pun for him.
Yes, he just did, Apollo.
And you walked right into it, sir, you poor bean.
Let's just try not to lose focus, alright?
Instead of the book, just throw down the law on him.
But my justice is crystal clear. What's not clear when your eyes wake up and smell the justice?
Silence!
Just
Silence!
Ah,
I kill you.
En- Enough of your rubbish, Fulbright! You have an ounce of justice, then you will answer the court's questions and prove it!
Prosecutor Blackwell?
Oscar Backwell looks torn.
Well, Fulbright was his partner after all.
Prosecutor Blackwell is right. The truth will be revealed in this cross-examination. The suspicions against Detective Fulbright are, at this point, only suspicions. As is my duty, I will adjust the claims against the detective. I said it! I fucking said it!
It's canon now.
I will judge the claims against the detective as impartially as I can.
The memes, they're bleeding through the walls.
Does anyone have any objections?
That's fine, Your Honor.
Now ask away, and don't hold back. Do. Well, there doesn't appear to be any objections.
Objection! Cease your foolish blabbering and get on with it!
Very well, Mr. Wright. Please begin your cross-examination.
That was directed at the detective, obviously.
Yes.
Yeah.
The embodiment of justice.
Aha! Justice,
The embodiment of justice. Those are just empty words.
But they say if you keep saying something, it can eventually become the truth. Isn't that how people make their dreams come true, too? By wishing it over and over.
Manifestation isn't real.
All right. Let's just move on. My arguments are hardly far-fetched. There's careful reasoning behind my theory.
Yes, well, apparently there's reasoning behind even a tofu burger. But what we have against Miss Sykes, though, that is not just reasoning, but solid evidence.
But there is reasoning behind it.
And it's called the lighter, with Miss Sykes' fingerprints on it and the victim's blood.
Yes, that's true, but wait. Detective Fulbright was the one who brought that evidence to the trial.
If you harbor any suspicions, I suggest you ask Fulbright, right, Dono? Especially about that lighter.
He's right. But what exactly should I ask about it?
The position, maybe?
I would have thought the number of prints.
Yeah, let's go with that.
So how many prints were found exactly?
3! The thumb, the index finger, the middle finger, the right hand.
Your Honor, that is an important statement. Could we please have it?
Added to my testimony, you've got it!
Don't interrupt me.
Make me do it. Ha ha! Be it investigating or testifying, speed is key.
That doesn't make any sense. Why only 3?
Well, okay then,
Why
Jacksepticeye,
Don't do
that's
drugs,
fine.
kids.
I just imagine it now, Bobby Pop saying, I'm fast as fuck, boy.
I'm fast as fuck, boy!
I'm sorry, I was just picturing you.
Is that his new hero persona? Fast as fuck, boy.
Oh dear. Okay.
I'm sorry, I was
Shadow?
when you
The
said
Lincoln Speedster.
That
when
doesn't
you
make
said
any
speed
sense.
is key, I just thought of drug. It was like, don't do drugs, kids.
Shadow?
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense, though. That doesn't, like, maybe I'm not a smoker and I don't use lighters very often, but wouldn't you hold the lighter with your entire hand?
You
Why
would, and
just-
also... Sorry.
No,
Yeah, go ahead.
depends on the size of the lighter, honestly.
Well,
I'm going to point out there is a contradiction here. You may not be on the right track.
Left hand.
yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
But you're also right regarding the how to hold this lighter,
Yeah.
Shadow. I was a smoker, and this is also a big lighter. It's a Zippo kind of a lighter that you can open. You flick it open, and that's really hard to do with holding it with just 3 fingers. You would have to use the other hand, or hold it with more fingers than that. And definitely not if you're like a smaller frame, smaller fingers lady like Athena.
Hmm. You say the prints were from her right hand, is that correct?
That's right. Very clear prints.
But that just doesn't add up.
Oh,
Also, that said, Athena is really strong, though, so
yeah.
she should not be counted in this conclusion.
Yeah,
What
but this
doesn't
is
add up?
more dexterity than pure strength.
Yeah. Because you
Athena's
can
not-
open the lighter by squeezing it, but that's not the point.
Athena's
but,
ally
like-
and should not have been counted.
I'm just saying, if she's strong enough to suplex a cup, she can hold a thing with 3 fingers. Come on.
Granted, yes. According to Ms. Blackwell, who saw the culprit herself, this person held the lighter in their left hand.
Oh.
So there's a dilemma before us. Why are the prints on the lighter from a right hand instead of a left?
Okay. All right. Doesn't make any sense, does it?
You're saying the right hand left prints.
Your Honor, this lighter can hardly be called incriminating evidence. The witness's claims don't even hold water. Or lighter fluid.
Yeah, but another thing, if I may interrupt, is also how would she leave prints of her right hand? She's constantly wearing the glove.
That's another good question.
Detective Fulbright, I hope we have a good explanation for this. I just can't understand it. They're definitely right handprints. But then, why are they inconsistent with Mrs. Blackwell's statement? I've got it! What have you got, Detective? The mirror! The witness must have seen a reflection of the culprit in the mirror.
That's not
Go
how mirrors
on.
work, though.
Miss Blackwell was looking in through the window of the boarding lounge 1, wasn't she?
I believe so. If you mean the little window in the back and to the right of the room.
That's right, and across the room from the opposite wall is a large mirror.
I do remember seeing it. Ah! So you're saying...
Yes!
But she would
The
have,
culprit,
she would have
Miss
seen
Blackwell,
both.
saw a similar reflection of that person in the mirror. Oh, I see. In that case, right and left would appear reversed, wouldn't they? Ha ha ha! Now do you see? That's the logic of pure justice.
Objection!
But your argument is only conjecture. You don't have any proof that Miss Blackwell saw was a reflection.
Silence.
Silence! Right, Dono. You'd sooner nick yourself than him like that. Put some muscle into it. For God's sake.
Huh?
Ha 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 ha! That's right. Besides, the lighter couldn't have been in the left hand.
And why not?
Miss Blackwell saw the Earth emblem on the lighter, didn't she? That emblem is only on one side of the lighter.
You're right. There's no emblem on the other side.
Exactly! As a blank and smooth as the judge's fine scalp. If the culprit had held the lighter in their left hand, they would have covered the emblem.
Uh-oh.
What is more, this is the kind of lighter you flick open with your thumb before lighting. So if the culprit had held it in their left hand with the emblem out and visible, they wouldn't have been able to open it, let alone light it. But if they'd held it in their right hand, they could easily open it and light it. This all means the culprit was definitely holding the lighter in their right hand.
No! Come back, my beautiful contradiction.
It appears you planted a flower that bears no fruit.
See how it withers before my flower of justice?
It doesn't.
Terrible drinking idea. Every time you hear Fulbright do a justice in this thing, you take a shot.
You're going to die of alcohol
Yeah, you
poisoning.
should die.
Yeah.
Do that.
That's why I said terrible drinking idea. Ergo, please don't do it, chat.
Chat, we're looking at you. Don't.
Gotcha.
Well, his flowers of injustice are about to get burnt by my flamethrower of truth.
So that's why they call it.
Bring the flamethrower, the heavy flamethrower.
He's managed to discredit almost everything I've proven up until this point.
In justice we trust. Now do you see, I'm not this phantom you've been talking about. I mean, are you sure there really is a spy? I bet this is a figment of your imagination. Oh, it's so sad, so very sad. But I'm afraid Miss Sykes is the culprit.
I noticed we can't see his eyes when he's doing that.
Hold it! Detective Fulbright, I believe you said that the emblem is only on one side of the lighter. Are you sure about that?
Mm-hmm. Of course I'm sure. Why do you take a look for yourself and see? Do you see an emblem on the side of the lighter?
Well, one side has a bullet in it. sir.
Huh.
I knew it. You're lying, detective.
Pardon me.
You mean?
Yeah, my bracelet reacted to a statement about the emblem. He's definitely hiding something big. I think if we use my talent, we might be able to figure it out.
Justice-san, are you to use that cheat of yours again?
It's not cheating, Prosecutor Blackwell.
It's just a MacGuffin.
Very well.
You just take the bracelet and move it up, up, down, down, left, right, left, right.
Whether I
A, B
like it or not,
start.
whether I like it or not, I suppose we should use whatever works right now. Go on then.
We have Prosecutor Blackwell's reluctant blessing, apparently. Okay, Apollo, you're up.
I mean, we could explain why we can use this, but it would take an entire game to do that. Prosecutor
Here goes then. Dr. Fulbright, could you repeat that last statement one more time?
What in the world are you up to? All right, fine. I'll say it
Could you please do it very slowly?
The Earth emblem is only on the side that you can see when held in the right hand.
Let's see. Up, up, down, down, left, right.
The emblem
And we're crunching. You put in the wrong cheat code.
At me.
Oh yeah, she crunch.
Yeah.
Put in the wrong
When held in the right hand. I'm not doing that again.
It's alright.
Yeah. Oh,
it's
I saw that. We're gonna have to wait for it to go all the way around again, but I saw it.
Wait. Yeah.
Look at
There's
his,
a
look at
problem
his
for
lovely
Siege.
chin. Look at his face.
Look at that butt chin. Look at that butt chin.
That's a butt chin.
Now that's the chin
Chin.
of justice.
I say that with affection because I also have a cleft chin, so it's fine.
Here comes the crimson chin.
Oh, he's flicking the lighter. That's the motion.
Gotcha!
Oh,
Her.
oh.
Detective Fulbright, you might not be aware of it yourself, but whenever you say the phrase the Earth emblem, your left thumb moves. In fact, it appears as though you're running it along the edge of your holster. Please don't shoot me.
Mr. Lawyer, I
He
don't
has a
have
gun.
the foggiest notion what you're talking about.
Be that as it may, I know it has something to do with a lighter. Let me examine it.
But why? Doesn't make any sense. You can't just...
Silence.
Silence! Be still and do as you're told, Fulbright. If you have nothing to hide, you shouldn't mind them having a look-see, should you?
What? Not you too, Prosecutor Blackwell. I'm not sure what this is all about. If Prosecutor Blackwell insists, it must be something important. I will allow the defendants to examine the latter. Eh.
Good. Now maybe we'll learn something new.
I hope so. Now let's check every inch of this thing.
And every
I'm
suspicious
still
nook
seeing
and
this
cranny.
lighter being not
Oh,
what
dear.
we expect.
The back is covered in blood.
Looks
Did
like a
you?
palm print.
Do you know something funny about this blood stain?
You're right. It suddenly breaks off unnaturally.
Like it's opened.
Supposedly the lighter was held with the right hand so the emblem would be visible. If so, the print should be around the emblem and the lid when you open it.
You're right. There's definitely something off here.
Could you try doing it and see if it does anything?
Then what?
You try opening it?
Oh, I don't think you'd be that specific.
So this is the Earth emblem Detective Fulbright was talking about.
Anything noteworthy?
Huh? Hey! Look at this. The emblem's actually some kind of button.
Huh.
Oh,
for
that's
Oh
a
boy.
gun.
Oh,
I have a gun.
Wow.
I
God.
I
I
have a
truly
gun.
am the man.
That's, and
Nope,
that
that's better. That's better than the reference I'm making. I'm standing down. I'm standing down.
that,
I was
that
gonna make it
explains that
this
there is
time.
small and not untypical caliber.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
could almost
that's
say
a
that,
spy's
would,
gun, if
maybe
anything.
that's .10 caliber.
It's a cricket.
wow!
Yeah.
It transformed into something.
A handle? A trigger? Is this what I think it is?
There's no question, it seems. What you have there is a gun.
I have a gun!
Oh, what?
Here's the gun.
That's a gun.
Here's a gun.
There is a gun.
A gun. So that's it. Your Honor, please recall this morning's trial when Director Cosmos was on the stand. The bullet that hit the oxygen tank was extremely small, maybe a .10 caliber. This little compact gun probably takes bullets of that caliber.
It looks like this is the gun that was fired at the scene.
I'm flabbergasted. The lighter was a gun?
So when Detective Fulbright would touch his holster,
That's right. Whenever he mentioned the Earth emblem, he must have subconsciously thought about the secret behind the lighter. In other words, he knew it was a gun from the very beginning. A lighter that transforms into a gun seems like a spy gadget to me. The kind of thing any ordinary person can get their hands on. In fact, I'd say it's strictly the domain of elite spies. Detective Fulbright, you will explain yourself.
I don't think he will.
There's nothing for me to explain. I didn't know the lighter could transform. I mean, it was found in the Space Museum and then I brought it straight in. I didn't even have time to check it out.
Objection!
Objection! Whenever you mention the Earth emblem, you touched your holster. You subconsciously did that because you knew it was a gun.
Accuse me all you want, but where's your proof? Do you have any evidence that I knew the lighter was a gun?
Not exactly.
And whose prints are on it? Miss Sykes' prints? It proves that she is the culprit who fired the gun at the scene.
Oh, you.
It would appear that the detective is right. Are you guys really trying to prove your client innocent or what?
I don't know how he did it, but I think he planted those prints on there.
Although it pains me to do this. Now
I
that we
do
are
know.
where we are, I have to make the following assertions coming from the prosecution side.
You know what I'm noticing?
What?
Every time Fulbright changes emotion, except for anger, his face is briefly hidden. Like he covers his eyes when he's rubbing his face, and when he goes into that worried pose, he looks down before pulling his head up. And in that crying pose, his head is all the way back, so we cannot see his face.
Yeah, but also, I do think I'm kind of on the mark there with my theory. Of course, he could have planted her fingerprints on the fucking thing because she was unconscious.
Yes.
Easily.
Yeah.
The person who fired the gun at Director Cosmos in the lounge after the incident. And the person Miss Blackwell saw holding the light hair. And the person who murdered Miss Tillon. And the person who bombed the Space Center. And all the defendant, Athena Sykes. The prints on the lighter are decisive proof. Thank God he didn't say and again.
No!
Now you see, a man on the side of justice couldn't possibly be the culprit.
You did take on a very interesting cadence in that, just higher and higher and higher.
And I think this about sums up Miss Sykes' part in the whole affair. But the evidence certainly does seem to point to the defendant's guilt. Do you have anything to say, Prosecutor Blackwell?
Evidence is everything in court, as you said. Therefore, Fulbright's claims stand firm.
Love
Calm
that,
down,
Reed.
Apollo. He's just saying that because he has to as the prosecutor.
I do so love it when Ebek makes characters prouder like that.
Mr. Lawyer!
So good.
Our job is
Yes,
to pursue
it is.
criminals in the name of justice. You shouldn't cast suspicion on people based on something as dubious as a habit. In fact, you have a bad habit of showing up in court with an awful case of bedhead.
Objection!
Objection! Says the man who wears sunglasses at night. If it's proof you want, it's proof you'll get. I'll prove this liar's not Miss Sykes, but yours.
Sounds like you've hit on something, Apollo.
I'm bluffing. I'm doing what you do.
I learned it from you.
I learned it from the best.
It's just.
Aren't you proud of me?
It's just if the Prince and the Liar are the basis for accusing Athena, I think we should consider the credibility of the evidence itself.
You mean you think this lighter might be forged evidence?
That's right. It could all be part of Fulbright's bigger plot. Did he do anything out of the ordinary when I was off on my own?
I can definitely think of a few things.
It is indeed. Have a look at this. What's this? A lighter?
Detective, we'd like to run a comparison on some prints we found in the boarding lounge.
Ah, yes. I just happened to compile the print data of everyone related to the case. I can always make another copy for myself, so it's all yours. Consider it a gift.
If we assume he's been laying a big trap for us all along, there's got to be something off about this piece of evidence. What's wrong with the lighter as a piece of evidence?
The owner, because she'd have no reason to have it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Are they really Athena's fingerprints? They definitely matched her print data. What about the data itself? Detective Fulbright,
Yes?
you were the one who provided us with the lighter and the print data. Isn't that correct?
Yes? What about it?
You say Miss Sykes' prints matched the print data. But I have to wonder, was the data you used official?
Mr. Wright, are you suggesting that the evidence might have been fabricated?
I guess there's only one way to find out. Let's re-examine the prints. Using the official, sanctioned print data of the people involved in this case.
What? You dare insult the epitome of justice and integrity? There's no need for such antics.
Silence.
Silence! Your Honor, I lend my voice to the defense's request. I must allow the test to be rerun.
Very well then. Fair enough.
It's curious how he doesn't call the judge his boldness anymore.
Yeah, it's serious.
Ah,
That's the thing.
it appears that the official
business.
data is here. Thank you, Taka.
Aw.
Sweep.
I'd love the Falcons to be doing that kind of noises.
And the results?
It's just as the defense claims. This proves that the prints on the lighter do not belong to the defendant. Ah!
Yes!
The fingerprints actually belong to the victim, Mr. Clayton.
Lighter updated in the court record.
He knew there's gonna be them.
So Clay had a gun?
He had a gun.
You had a gun?
He had a gun.
It were Clay's fingerprints in the lighter?
Ah, I see. Come to think of it, Wasn't it you, Fulbright, who collected the victim's prints?
I personally removed his glove during the investigation. We had to get his fingerprints to confirm his identity, after all.
When you took the deceased's fingerprints, you could have easily planted his prints on the lighter with his blood.
That makes more sense.
Yeah.
So I was close. I was just thinking of the wrong person.
After which you wiped the blood off his hand.
Yeah.
By your own admission, you were also the one who compiled the phony print data. All to put the blame on Miss Sykes.
Ah!
This ploy must have been to distract us from the Phantom, who was behind everything. You were out to create the impression that the Phantom wasn't the true culprit.
So does it mean Detective Fulbright really is the Phantom?
Remember the killer's escape route? No ordinary person would have been fearless enough to attempt it.
Yeah, that tracks.
Nobody but the Phantom, the man with no emotions, could have done it.
Ah!
Detective Fulbright, you were the only one who could have used that escape route.
I...
Fulbright, are you really the Phantom? Answer me, or so help me, I will slash you to tiny slivers where you stand!
Ah! All right, I'll talk. I confess. I'm not the Phantom.
Silence.
Silence! It's all over. Now be a man and admit it already! Or whatever it is you are!
But I'm not a spy. I'm an undercover investigator. I've actually been after the Phantom myself.
Uh-huh.
An undercover investigator? That sounds less than wholesome to me.
Can I have that job?
Oh, Jesus.
My job is to investigate those glow-in-the-dark dinosaurs that you keep under the covers.
I'm going to get the horny bat.
A person who hides his identity and secretly investigates in order to uncover information. And that's what you really are? Fulbright?
That's right. I was working to track down the Phantom, but sadly, even though I was supposed to catch the spy ended up catching me. He took my family hostage and forced me to cooperate with him.
Oh, sub-stories. Wow.
Objection!
You're telling us this now? But if what you say is true, then who was the mystery person Miss Blackwell and Mr. Starbuck saw?
It was the Phantom, I tell you! All I did was help him by having that emergency ladder lowered for him.
Objection!
Objection! I don't believe you! Then how do you explain the fabricated lighter?
That was also one of the Phantom's demands. Being the detective in charge of the case, it was easy for me to fabricate evidence. Pinning the crime on Athena Sykes was just another of the Phantom's orders.
And you expect me to buy that?
Fulbright, what was the Phantom's ultimate objective?
I was told it was to sabotage the rocket launch.
But why?
Someone who didn't want the launch to happen must have given him the order. Actually, I have to apologize to you too. The Phantom told me to get close to you. He ordered me
Take
to
you to
get back
Starbucks
that
sometime.
psych profile you have on him.
So, he sent a buzzard of his own to tail me this past year, did he?
I haven't been a champion of justice. I've just been a pawn of evil. a pawn of the Phantom who stole the Moonrock and killed Dr. Sykes 7 years ago.
Enough, Fulbright. Just tell us the Phantom's true identity then.
I don't know. He was very
Okay.
careful to hide it. He has a top secret information for all kinds of corporations and countries. So there's a number of organizations that want him dead. If people believe I was the Phantom, I could be killed on the spot. Why, I bet even now there are assassins lurking nearby. This case is about the Phantom after all.
Yeah, in about 2 seconds there's gonna be a red dot in the middle of his forehead.
With the ceiling blown off, I suppose you're with the ceiling blown off, I suppose you're vulnerable to sniper shot in this courtroom.
Like I said.
Just 2 seconds ago, Fulbright was treating Athena like a criminal. Does he really think he's going to lie his way out of this now?
On the surface, everything does seem to make sense. This could be bad, Mr. Wright. We can't find a flaw in his logic.
He's right. After we've come all this way, we can't let Fulbright wiggle free now.
I finally told the truth. Now I hope you see how foolish it was to think I was the Phantom. You're an intelligent man, Prosecutor Blackwell. You believe me, right?
I believe you. I don't think you're the Phantom.
What? How can you say that, Prosecutor Blackwell? It's obvious he's the Phantom.
Silence.
Silence! Evidence is everything, right, Dono? You must admit, there's no clear evidence that Fulbright is the Phantom.
Yes. As I recall, the only solid proof we've seen up to this point is the fact that Detective Fulbright fabricated evidence.
But...
I've known Fulbright here for a year now. And all this time, he's been quite intent on rehabilitating me. I don't believe his efforts were a lie.
Prosecutor Blackwell!
This fool truly thought he could reform a death row inmate like me. I can fix him, and so on. He went so out of his way in his efforts for me, he actually became quite a nuisance, really.
He even took me to Starbucks. Can you believe that?
You believe me!
Please tell me Prosecutor Blackwell hasn't really taken in by this big phony!
However, even if it was against your will, you still acted as the Phantom's accomplice. You will have to pay the price for that. Throw yourself at my mercy, and don't you ever betray me again! Have you got that?
Yes. Thank you. Oh, thank you! Such a bond of trust is rare and a beautiful thing. In any case, it looks like everything has been resolved.
Anyway.
I can now hand down a not guilty verdict with confidence. Very good, I'm very glad to hear it. It's all over, everything's been cleared up, and Miss Sykes will go free as well.
Mr. Wright, we can't let this trial end here. If we do, the Phantom, the man who killed Clay, will get away.
I know, but...
Is Miles entering now?
What do I do? I don't have any proof that Detective Fulbright is the Phantom.
Oh yeah, we still don't have the people who found the body.
Is this it? Is he going to get away with it just like that?
Now, if you'll excuse me, my next investigation awaits. And with that, I'm off! Bye!
hold it. The defense. No, wait, not the defense. Sorry. The defendant feels like it's not time for a verdict yet and would like to see this trial continue.
What? But I was just about to declare you innocent of all charges.
But I stole your gavel.
It just doesn't feel right to be standing here. Hey, Apollo, think you could scooch over?
Well, what?
Out of my way! Hello.
Just imagine he hip checks him out of the way. Just a crash.
Would do that, yeah.
Athena, what are you doing? I hope we don't get held in contempt of court.
I have some questions for you, Detective Fulbright. Are you relieved that you're no longer under suspicion of being the Phantom? Are you grateful to Prosecutor Blackwell for what he's done for you?
Of course I am, and I'm truly grateful from the bottom of my heart.
Athena, where are you going with these questions?
She's not
I have
hearing
yet
him.
to hear a single emotion behind any of Detective Fulbright's words, boss.
I just love Apollo's face. He's just so.
He's not having
He's so
any of
done
this.
with this.
He was like,
Suspicion
I
against
was
him-
meant to be. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Apollo be
line
like,
didn't work.
I was meant to be the front and center here.
The
It
suspicion
was meant
against
to
him.
be me.
The suspicion against him has been cleared up, but he's not feeling happy at all.
What does that mean?
Mm-hmm. We may not have any evidence, but the heart doesn't lie.
And with that, we're going to leave that for this week.
Yeah.
Sounds
Dun, dun,
good.
dun.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so-
Also, fun fact, neither do the hips.
Oh dear.
So, I want to thank everyone who's tuned in. It's been great fun streaming this part of the case. Next week, pretty much, we will get the conclusion done, and
100%.
we'll have a roundtable, and maybe start the next project, whatever that is. We're not going to reveal that until the end of the roundtable, or the end of the episode next week. But, well, you know what I mean. But for me, I want to thank my co-stars. Burr,
Yay!
Drifting,
Getting awfully crowded at this side of the courtroom.
Divot,
Justice.
Kay,
Is it justice?
Laura,
Uno. Wait. But you can't do that +2 rule. That's not how the rule works.
Try me!
Lemming,
You're not there, Athena!
Justice is secondary to truth.
Shadow.
Yeah.
Thank you to everyone who's been part of this, and I want to thank you for watching this if you're watching this in the future. We'll be back next week for part 2, but be sure to check out the streams that are going on the rest of the week in the future, as well as all the guests. Most of them do stream as well. Go check out their various channels and such, and we'll see you next time for the conclusion of Ace Attorney, Dual Destinies. I'm going to save again because you never can tell. Good night, everyone.
Anxious.
I'm being too confident.
Bye.
Next week, it's all going to come to a head.